Hey everybody, what's up? It is Sunday night, which means it is time to wind down your weekend with us here at Bat City. If you are tuning in right now, you're probably watching this live on Facebook, but maybe you're watching it on YouTube. And if you are, make sure you click like and subscribe, because we want to make sure that we can continue to grow this YouTube channel with more awesome content. Thank you no matter which way you're watching this show. If you are watching live, today is we're in the last 24 hours to vote for us in Best of Austin for the Austin Chronicles poll. So if you haven't yet, you can vote for us for your favorite comic book shop before that ends. It's super awesome to be nominated as the little guy, just starting out. We've only been here a couple years, and both years we've actually been nominated. So it's super cool. Thank you to everybody who nominated us, and we appreciate you taking the time to vote. I am Shannon, aka Small Press Shann, here to talk about some awesome comics with you and my buddy, 50 Shades of Phil, aka Philip Gray. How's it going?
Hello.
Yes. But how's your week, Phil? We always start out with some cool stories. What do you got for us this week?
Oh, a lot of exhaustion. I'm now in the first full week of my new job, and it's tough going from working 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. to now working 6 p.m. to 3 a.m. So, sleeping schedules are kind of tough. However, today I'm wearing my the Batman t-shirt, because today I pre-ordered my Walmart exclusive of the Batman. It's got a nice can and a poster and a lot of cool stuff. So, this is my one geeky thing I was excited for this week. So, yeah, new job. I feel too old to be in the food truck game, but it feels good to be back. It's an environment I enjoy. And I work outside of Cheer Up Charlie's, and they've been having drag queen events all weekend.
Nice.
And so it's awesome music, really fun people. Yeah, it's been good. How are things here at the shop this week?
Things at the shop this week have been great. We had a really good comic week, as you know. Yeah. So we've had some great titles coming out. We've had a lot of really good collections come in. So we've had a lot of new keys hit the floor. A lot of just fun books that everybody likes. And we launched on Whatnot this week.
Yes.
So yes. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. You helped with that.
I did. I was one of the co-pilots, but we let Matt take over, and it seems like he was born to do Whatnot auctions.
Yeah. If you don't know, Whatnot is an auction, a live auction app or website if you're want to use your computer, but it's a live sell app that you can go to, and people are selling everything from toys to shoes to clothes to, of course, comic books. And you can find us on there at Bat City TV.
Yes.
And we're going to be doing sales for sure on Wednesdays, but there's more to come on other days that we'll be doing them. So, and it's a lot of cool stuff. You can find some of those back issues that you might not get a chance to dig through the bins and find at your LCS or at our shop. But this last week we pulled out a bunch of incentives, and so it was hey, here's some really old 1 in 25s that you might have missed, and here's your chance to get them. As well as some other things. There was a couple of comics that Matt was this literally came out of Donny Cates' garage. Which is true, that there are lots of opportunities to get more comics that have come out of Donny Cates' garage. Don't you worry.
All I will say is that Matt pulled out a 1 in 100 Ant-Man variant.
Yes.
A Herb Trimp variant. And I was like, whoa, this is really cool. And he goes, oh yeah, it's a 1 in 100. All right, starting bid on this is $5. I'm like, what are you doing?
It gets crazy on Whatnot.
But that's honestly what it is. Because I started doing it with Nigel, my roommate, the key master here at the shop. And when we were doing it, the first auction we did together, I would throw up a book and I'd be like, all right, $1. He's like, that's a key. You just start at 10. I'm like, nah. Let's just have fun. I'm in the zone. I want to give these books away. It feels good. It's like a game show host in a way almost.
Yeah, you really do kind of seem like game show hosts whenever you're on there. So if you have Whatnot, or if you're thinking about getting on it, follow us, give us a follow on there as well, and then check out Bat City TV so you can see Wednesday at 8:30 we will have the next show, and so follow us now so you can see what's going to be on that and get prepared. Since it's Sunday, we're winding down our weekend, and we are winding it down with Josh. both in our live studio audience and in our wine. We do have, if you've ever been to the shop, you might have met our volunteer Josh. He is actually here as our live studio audience tonight, so you may hear some peanut gallery comments from Josh throughout, especially when I misinform you on what happened in X-Men this week. Josh will probably correct
Well, that's
us.
why
It's not right.
That's why we've moved all the X-Men books to the in stock,
so
we can just
go,
be like,
it's here.
yeah, the X-Men are still a thing.
They're still a thing, and you love them. But he also suggested that we try Josh wine, and this is a Cab Sav from California. It says it's got blackberry, toasted hazelnut, and cinnamon flavors, which I am always down for anything cinnamony, so hopefully this does not disappoint.
That's weird. It's a weird flavor. This isn't a wine flavor I've experienced before. Like, it's very fruity in the beginning, but then there's a taste at the backside that I can't...
It's cinnamon.
I think
Cinnamon.
I think for me it's the hazelnut that stands out.
I feel like you go through them all three, like Violet and Willy Wonka. Like you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I taste that. Like I can taste the ribs or whatever like meat she ate, and then she's like, and then you get to the end and you're like blueberry pie.
Yeah, this is I like this.
Yeah, this is nice.
It's a weird choice for a name of wine to call yourself Josh Wine.
So
but...
the guy that makes it, his dad's name is Josh. And he taught him everything he knows, and so he said he makes this as a tribute to. He named this is the first wine in his line, so he named it Josh in honor of his dad.
He also named the cellars Josh Cellars.
Yes.
All right.
So, there
Fantastic.
you go, Josh wine.
Yeah, check it out.
Yeah, pretty good. We actually got that at Walgreens, so who knew?
Hey, I went to a 7-Eleven the other day and was really impressed with their wine selection. I was like, oh, okay, you've got the Snoop Dogg wine. That's really all that matters.
At the 7-Eleven. Wow, good job, 7-Eleven. They usually have good wine at the gas station, but I didn't know we had gotten to Snoop Dogg wine. That said, while we're winding down our weekend, we're going to talk about some of the best comics out this week and a bunch of the hot new titles just in general. So we're going to do hot new titles, then we'll go to our picks of the week, and we'll tell you about some other stuff that we still have in stock. We're going to start out with issue 5 of The Rush from Vault Comics. I'm starting with this because Phil didn't read it, so I'm rubbing it in because Phil didn't get a chance to read issue 5, so I thought I'd just kick it off by teasing him with the book he didn't get to read this week. But you love The Rush. Tell them what The Rush is about so I don't spoil issue 5.
The Rush is about a mother who is traveling to California to part of the gold... Is it California or Nevada?
It's west.
It's the western area with where gold rushing is happening, and she is in search of her boy who has gone missing, and some crazy stuff kind of takes place. She meets some crazy characters, and there's a bit of a paranormal kind of otherworldly asked to it that's very interesting.
And in issue 5, we learned how that all happened.
Ooh.
So, yeah, I don't know. Do you want to show them what it looks like?
I mean, I
without spoiling it for yourself.
The art in this book is fantastic.
This is one of those books that whenever it comes out, I remind Phil that, hey, The Rush is out, so it's going to be really wordy. This is, it's Cy Spurrier, and it is a very, it's funny because I think his other book on the shelf right now is Step by Bloody Step that has no words.
Yes.
So it's like he puts all the words into The Rush and then does no words in Step by Step Bloody Step. But it is heavily wordy, but it feels like the kind of novel you would read about that time period. Even like a fiction novel like that just would take place in that time period. But we do find out in issue 5 the cause of a lot of this supernatural stuff and the connections to everything. So this was like a big, oh my god, I can't believe that just happened. Like, this is where we're going, and it looks like issue 6 will be our last one. It does say to be concluded in issue 6.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I am looking forward to seeing how this concludes. I'm looking forward to seeing where all this stuff comes from.
It was a really interesting thing, and it also we see a lot of character unfolding for a lot of different people in this issue. A lot of things that we've been I really want to know what this is. You get that answer in this one, which I like because you are hitting that climax point and you're going to come down. You're actually seeing, I feel like we saw the perfect example of narration in this, in storytelling, because you see the plot grow and then you climax to the plot point, and then now we're going to get resolution. And so I love that this book actually kind of just perfectly followed that diagram.
Yeah.
And we did get to see a lot of those things get fulfilled in this issue. So if you haven't started The Rush, highly recommend, but know, like, you're going to settle in and, like, read, because it's very much a story.
Right.
And it's deep in there, but cool art too.
Yeah, the only reason I didn't get to this one is because by the time that I got to it, my eyes were already starting to, like, get real heavy. And one thing that they do in this book is she writes in that, like, real small cursive. That's kind of, like, if you've been reading a lot, it's kind of tough to focus in and really see what words are being written there. But, I mean, the story's been fantastic.
It's been so great. Up next, we have Life Zero Issue 3 from Ablaze Comics. This is honestly your classic zombie video game told through a comic book. You can hit, like, all the points of, like, I feel like you are walking through a lot of the, like, the big arcade style versions of the zombie games, like how you feel like you're walking in it. This kind of feels like that. The art, though, is done by Chichetto, who does Daredevil. I do like that they've updated now to also say and Devil's Reign.
Yeah.
Like the Devil's Reign and Daredevil artist, Marco Chichetto. Super cool book, though. You do get, like, this team of people who are infiltrating the city, and you think that they're just trying, like, they're, like, all military people, and they're trying to save their captain. And then once they save the captain in issue 1, you find out that the captain's daughter is somewhere in the city, and she's a young girl. And so they are like, we can't leave the city until we save this young girl. And they're walking around this, like, they're going through this zombie attack trying to find it. And you're like losing your people. You're seeing new people get, attacked, people hide it. You're in all the zombie tropes that you know and you love. It kind of feels like watching a Resident Evil movie. So if you're a fan of the Resident Evil movies, this just reads like you're watching the Resident Evil movies.
Right. Yeah, and that, I mean, I think that is something that's definitely adds to the story level of it. Because, I mean, I know a ton of people who played Left 4 Dead.
Oh my god, I played Left 4 Dead. Yeah, like, that is one, I forget about that. Yeah. I played that game. I'm so proud.
And that's kind of like the same concept. Yeah. Like, you're working your way through to get to whatever the end point is. But yeah, I mean, I think that's a great fun way to go about reading a comic. And, I mean, you get the Chichetto art, so, you're kind of getting the best of both worlds. A fun story and really solid art.
I will say, in Left 4 Dead, those, like, crying witches were the worst. Oh my god. They were, like, worst. Like, hard to beat, but also, like, the crying sound that they used, whoever that voice actor was, deserves an award for being terrifying.
Yes.
Up next, Vault has been doing reprints they're called the Reserve Edition of Heathen, which was one of the very first titles at Vault, and this is issue 3, and I am obsessed with this story. I know you read it when it came out originally, and this is my first time through, and I've become extremely obsessed with this story. This is all about a Valkyrie is imprisoned by Odin on a mountaintop, and there's fires. You have, like, oh gosh, that's kind
of... I'm going to show the full...
Oh, it's so
spread.
good. Yeah. The Valkyrie is imprisoned and can only be saved by somebody who comes, a mortal who comes and marries her. And of course, for all this time, it's always been men who have done it. But our story of Heathen follows a young girl who lives in the Viking world, and she's a lesbian, and she's been sentenced to death for being a lesbian, and her dad's like, I'll just outcast her, I'll banish her. And he personally takes her away and is like, hey, be safe. Like, here's everything you need. Like, you're going to have a better life if you're not in this terrible village. Like, go on. And so she goes to save the Valkyrie and, like, offers to be with her. And now she's been captured by Freya. And she is living up in the Valkyrie, like, castle and having to deal with all of this stuff that's going on. It's really, I love the weird art. Like, the art is such a weird style, and I love it. It fits so well with the storytelling. I love the characters. Like, this has been a really fun book. I can't wait to see how it plays out at the end, because it keeps, like, we keep introducing more and more things into the story as we go on, and I'm like, ooh, that's a good twist. Like, how does this play out? Yeah. Like, oh man, what's this? Like, and they keep coming back to, like, the different, like, oh, well, Odin's very specific in how he words things, and so I'm like, that's true. So what's the twist here that we're gonna see? It's really great.
Yeah, and I like that Vault is doing this. I think they should do it with a lot of their early titles.
Agreed.
That just, kind of fell by the wayside because,
they were new.
Yeah, people didn't know who they were. But, I mean, this is almost one that you would, like, it would come out now and it would be up there with some of the other big indie books out right now.
And it is the 5-year anniversary of Vault this year. So this is the 5th anniversary of Vault as a publisher. So I think we might see some more cool things like that are like cool additions or any kind of stuff like that.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I would like to see more of that. But this is issue 3, and I think there was 6 issues total.
I do know that the trade just came up for order today. So probably somewhere in there. Because those are usually a couple months after the last one. So. Hit Me, issue 2 from AWA Upshot. Why don't you hit them with what's about, Phil?
So Hit Me is about a woman who I had this issue last time as to what we would refer to her as, because she is
I mean, she is technically a sex worker.
She is technically a sex worker,
but she lets people do painful things to her for their pleasure.
Yes.
And it's not so much about sex, it's more about the pain. So it is on that, like, BDSM spectrum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the story of her, and she kind of walks through her customers and the life that she lives in that first issue. And at the end of it, some crazy stuff goes down. She gets entangled up in a mess that involves diamonds and people getting killed. And so this issue picks up right where that left off. Her and her handler have to go and take care of his bullet wound. And things just continue to get worse. Yeah. Essentially. I mean, this is one of those where it's like one of those you get tangled up in something that you weren't expecting, and it's just going to be just constant shit hitting the fan. And things going crazy. I don't want to give too much away in the back end of this issue. But yeah.
And BJ said, is she a sub? Not always. Sometimes she does dominate trick styles. So, but she is, yes, there is a lot of the masochism into, like, what, like, she talks about, like, some of that. So, and I do like that Krista Faust does include a letter at the back of the first issue that kind of explains it all. So I feel like if you want, like, a really detailed, like, what is this and what am I going to see, Krista Faust does a great job of explaining it. And honestly, Krista Faust is one of my favorite AWA Upshot writers because she is constantly like, hey, what is a thing that people don't understand? And how can we turn it into a great story? Or how are, here's a way that, like, people are being marginalized. How can I turn this into a fun action story that's not about that, but yet teaches that at the same time? And I think she does a really, really good job with that. And again, if there's a Krista Faust AWA book, you should just, like, automatically subscribe because it's going to be a great story. And this one's fun.
Yeah, it's only going to get better. Like, by the end of the issue, I was already like, okay, I need issue 3 now. There
was a moment in this issue where I, like, screamed at the book out loud and was like, I'm not ready. We are on issue 2. You cannot go there yet.
Yeah, and give me one more issue before
that happens. Yeah.
But I do like that about this. It's because it's like issue 1 ends and you're like, all right, they're flung into this, and it's now what they're going to be dealing with. But then issue 2 is just like, nope. No. We're just going to go... almost straight to what feels like Act 3. Yeah.
So where is this going? If that's where we are at already. Oh my God.
But they have 3 issues to finish it up, so I'll be curious.
And or not, because AWA does do everything in volumes, and they label their volumes by how many books are in the volume, not necessarily how many are in the whole series, which I love that, because it does help you if you're new come in and say, oh, this is a new number 1, I can start here, and it does have a defining, like, jump in point, which I love. I do also love that their trades come out usually a month after the series ends at most, and they're only $9.99.
That is fantastic.
Yes. Up next, and hi Tom. Tom says hi. Up next is issue 4 of Rain from Image Comics on the new imprint that we can't say. Yes. Syzygy. Yeah, but this is a Joe Hill novel being adapted for comics by the writer of Kanto. So all of the things that can be both dark and sad and break your heart all rolled into one. And they do it incredibly successfully every issue. And in issue 4, it's not any different. You're still sad. but it's still beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, this is a book that, like, right off the bat in issue 1, basically was like, hey, everything that makes you sad in movies is gonna happen in this book. And I feel like this one hit me even harder, you know, and it's kind of very fitting for the time that we live in.
Oh my God, yes. So if you haven't, I guess to start with, if you haven't read Rain, there is a giant storm. There are storms hitting the world that are bringing down like shrapnel, like nails or pieces of like slivers of glass or all kinds of things, and it just rains that from the sky. And if you're outside or in something that's not very protective, you're dead.
Yeah.
And it opens with a couple, a young couple where the girl is moving in with her partner. And our main character is so excited that her partner is moving in with her because her family is accepting, but the main character's family has not been accepting of her queer relationship status. And it's a really beautifully tragic story from day one of this book.
Also in this issue, they answer a question or a comment from issue 1, which was not something I wanted to ever know the answer to. If you are very sensitive like I am, this is a tough book to read because there has not been an issue where I haven't started tearing up. And
I love that at the same time.
Yeah.
Like it is beautifully painful. It's not one of those where it's like, oh, why did you do this? This is like the world is dark and dangerous, but love and hope can, like, you got to push your way to love and hope. But then they even warn you, like, at the end of every issue, she's always like, and I thought that was the worst it could be. And it, like, stops the issue, and you're like, son of a bitch, what? And then? I don't need an and then right now. That's the saddest you can make me. But it's not going to be. I know that. This is going to end in tears. It started in tears. It will definitely end in tears. But I hope that somewhere in there is actually hope.
So I actually thought this was the end of the series.
Yeah.
Just because the one thing that she set out in the first issue has now been concluded. So I was like, oh, okay, this was kind of abrupt, but I mean, if there's more, I really do hope there is.
And I think there will, because she does actually say, the last line of the book is actually, it wouldn't take long for me to find out hope wasn't there at all. So we know that means something else is coming. There will definitely be more issues to this for sure. I think I've already ordered them, or I'll order it tomorrow, because you usually order. The Monday is usually the order point. But yeah, it is phenomenally beautiful. It is so well written. If you've never read Canto, I don't think I've met you. Because I put Canto in everybody's hands. But if you've never read Canto alone like that, it's a perfect example of how wonderful, like, the writing style that David Brewer does. And you should read it. But if you want something that's less fantasy and more heartbreaking immediately, just read Rain. This is a part of we bring in Big Two books because I love the Trial of the Amazons moment. So Wonder Woman issue 786, I believe, from DC Comics.
786.
Yes, this is Becky Cloonan and Michael Conrad and their portion of the Trial of the Amazons, which is the ongoing event right now that crosses over all Amazonian books because we have more than one.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that every time. So excited. We have our 4 champions for the title of, like, who is going to be the representative of the Amazons and the champion of the Amazons, and do they all belong kind of to the same tribe. The championship has begun. We have our champions of Donna Troy, Yada Flor, Philippa, who is Hippolyta's wife, and Diana, who is representing all Amazons, not a tribe specifically of the Amazons. And the 4 of them have gone to start their battle or their challenges for this, and immediately upon that happening, the entire arena caves in, and they find themselves in a place that nobody even knew was on the Mascara. And they are quick to learn that the most important thing they can do at this time is to work together. And they have this whole conversation where each one of them is like, honestly and truthfully, like, what makes us more Amazon than the fact that, you know, we're these strong, powerful, fierce women, and we face all of our challenges together, and not apart. And we're not making it a rivalry. We're like, this was supposed to be a contest, but the contest isn't between us. It's between us and the world. Right. And I'm like, God, I love these. Like, they're like, hey, how can we find a way to make this? We were told to write a book where all the Amazon women faced off, but we're not going to do that. Instead, we're going to remind you that competition between, like, women and forcing women to choose, like, who's the best woman is a terrible idea. And we're actually just going to make all of these women work together against a bad guy. And I was like, God, I love you, Becky Cloonan. Like, I love that you just continuously make that the plan. If you're not reading it, this little event does include Wonder Woman, Wonder Girl, Yada Floor, and Nubia's series. And then on top of that, there is a murder mystery that is going on in this. There is the contest. There is the ability to include all of the Amazons into it. This has been a really fun event. I like that it's not like a massive, like it doesn't go on forever. It's not 42 issues. In the end, I think it's like 12 issues maybe total that you're going to have. That'll be a part of it. I can't wait to see that. And reminder, if you are voting for the Best of Austin Chronicle choices, Becky Cloonan is nominated for Best Comic Creator in Austin. I think Becky does not get enough love and attention. She is phenomenal. I'm going to grab this really fast to remind you. Not only is Becky Cloonan a great writer, but Becky Cloonan is a phenomenal artist. Yeah. And Becky has been in Austin forever. And this is the first time that I've ever seen Becky nominated for Best of Austin. And she is somebody who needs to get the credit she deserves. She's a great artist. She's created a lot of great series. She's been a part of a lot of great series. She's a great writer. And I will continuously point out, if you didn't know, Becky Cloonan is the first female to draw Batman in an ongoing series. So Becky Cloonan needs to have her dues. She's paid them. She deserves to be awarded for them. Don't forget, if you haven't voted yet, you can still go in and vote for Becky Cloonan for Best of Austin Comic Creator. And while you're there, make sure you vote for Bat City for your favorite comic shop.
Yes. Do all the voting.
All the voting.
Tonight is your last chance.
Yes. They are in it tomorrow. Up next is We Ride Titans number 3 from Vault Comics. This has been delayed for so long. I'm so glad it's here. Phil, tell them why you love this book.
Well, of course, the first appeal for this book is kaijus, of course. But this is the story of a young man who, in the first issue, can no longer handle being a Titan, which are basically kind of like the same as Pacific Rim, giant robots to protect us against kaijus. And in steps his sister, who has to take over, and you basically get a very interesting family dynamic between the father and the daughter, the father and the son, the brother and sister. I mean, there's just so much. And this issue in particular jam-packs all of that family dynamic stuff into this issue. It lays it on so thick here. The sister she's battling another Titan that they aren't even sure. It appeared at the end of issue 2. And it doesn't seem to be manned by anyone. And she is struggling. And the dad, who is usually the guy on the computer who's like walking her through the fighting, isn't helping. And her brother steps in.
Because he's being that, like, I told you so, dad, in the moment, which is a big thing. And I think this is why this book resonates with so many people who pick it up. Because it's like, well, if you would have stayed here and done your training and if you'd ever listened to me, and it's like, hey, I'm getting my ass kicked right now. Maybe you can save the lectures for later. Yeah. And it's like, you get that, like, parental, it's that level of parental conversation that everybody can identify with. And and then the brother's like, okay, you're done. Like, this isn't helpful to anybody. Like, stop it.
And I love that little moment that he has with the dad where he takes the headphones off and he's like, I know you're trying to prove your point, but if you ever put my sister in harm like that, we're going to fight about it. And I was like, yes.
I love that. I was like, this is going to be one of those sibling books that you're like, if you have siblings, you're going to be like, dude, just read this. Like, not pretend like I said all these nice things to you, but also all the mean ones too.
Right. Yeah. And then, like, immediately after that, it goes into this scene in a diner, and there's this whole thing about waffles. And even that shows you this, like, really
heartbreaking scene for the family dynamic. Oh my god, I was like that. The wrap up of that scene. Oh, I was like, I'm gonna cry. Like, this was so good.
It's like, you know, it's very obvious that this dad was not good to either one of the kids, and the girl left. You know, she left to not be a part of that, and the son stuck around, and it's very obvious that the dad has issues with both kids. But yeah, this, like, you know, the tagline for this book is Kaijus hit hard, family hits harder, and that is, like, the best tagline for this book, because you are gonna, and, like, even in this issue, you really don't get a kaiju at all.
No.
The Titan aspect of it is only in that very beginning. So this definitely leaned more into that family aspect of it.
And that's definitely one of the things I've been waiting for, because once something gets really popular in comics, like, we get the action version of it, and then it's like the indie books are like, hey, by the way, there's a family dynamic here. There's an emotional journey connected to that. And I feel like we're starting to see a lot of the family dynamic stories coming out of the kaiju world right now, because kaiju are, like, so prevalent in comics right now, and always, but especially now. So we are starting to see some of these family dynamic stories, and I love it. And I also love D. Knuff's colors on this book. Yes,
this is an art team that is fantastic. Sebastian Perez, D. Knuff on colors. I mean, it's a Titan creative team.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, I do really enjoy this book. I think this is probably one of the best vault titles on the shelves right now. And,
I definitely agree.
And I can't wait to see where it goes. I hope I hope it's an ongoing. Like, I hope this goes on for a while. Yeah.
Seeing of books that have been going on for a while that nobody is reading and should be reading, 7 Secrets, issue 16 from Boom Studios. We don't bring a lot of issue 16s to the table because a lot of the small press books don't get an issue 16. They usually kind of stop in that 6 to 12 range. I have no idea how long Tom Taylor is going to run this book, and forever is my answer of how long I want it to go. I mean, give me, like, a solid at least, like, you could just, I mean, even if it stops at 24 or something, I'd be fine. But I also don't want it to stop ever. It has been so good. 7 Secrets is essentially the story of a young boy who, his parents were secret keepers. There are 7 secrets that will, you know, could make or destroy the entire world if they ever got out. And there's a secret society that's job it is to protect these secrets. And of course, 2 people who are on a team as, like, the secret keeper and the, like, protector of that secret cannot ever, like, romantically be involved. So he is the child of 2 people who were supposed to be watching a secret who got romantically involved. And they now have this kid, but the kid, they couldn't raise the kid. So the kid was given to the society, and the society sent him away to be raised somewhere else. And then they brought him back when he was a teenager to go through all the trials for the thing. We have since learned so many things, and I try so hard not to spoil this book for people because I want them to read it, but at the same time, the further I get into what is going on in this book, the more people are like, oh my god, maybe I messed up and I should go back and read this. But if you are a fan of Saga and you have never picked up this book, you're kind of giving yourself a disservice, because it's another one of those, like, where the kid is telling you the story and it's about their parents, but it's about them, and there's something magical about that kid. So you do get all of that. And then if you are a fan of anything Tom Taylor has ever written and you are not getting this, this is probably my favorite Tom Taylor book on the shelves. And I know that's hard to say because he's doing Superman Son of Kal-El, he's got Nightwing, he just did Deceased, he's doing Dark Ages. He's got a lot of incredible big 2 power right now. But if this one, 7 Secrets, this, you need to grab this Tom Taylor book and go back and read the whole thing, fall into it, because it is phenomenal. And every time you see it, things hit the fan, and we are constantly dealing with that. And if you do need to go back, I'm going to throw this in there right now, we do have the trade for volume 1. So if you want to start 7 Secrets, this is a great way to do it. This is issues 1 through 6. and it is phenomenal. I love this book, and it doesn't get the love that it deserves, but Tom Taylor, I see you, and I appreciate this beautiful book that you're writing, and everybody should be reading it.
I've only read the first trade, but it is a fantastic book.
Right.
And, Tom Taylor is easily one of the best writers in comics right now.
Absolutely. Speaking of comic writers that everybody loves, Nocterra, issue 9 from Scott Snyder. We are starting the next major arc of our story with this. We had, the first arc, we had a couple issues, we had a one-shot, but we are definitely seeing this as really the meat of the next arc of the story. Nocterra follows a group of teenagers and, maybe a couple of people who are a little bit older than that, as they are facing off in a world where the sun has suddenly disappeared. And once the sun disappeared and shadows and darkness took over, people who were in that darkness become monsters. And they become these shades essentially is what they call them, but they become these shadowless creatures who, or shadowed creatures, I guess I should say, because that's all they are, is a shadow, and they kill people. And it doesn't matter if it's an animal, if it's a human, whatever you are, if you're in the left out in the dark, you will become this dark creature who eats everybody and kills people savagely. And this follows a sibling, a sister and their brother, that they are on this journey to try to stop this from happening. Just trying to bring back sunshine, keep people safe. And they meet an old man and his granddaughter. And he's actually the person who may have been responsible for it, but he's also the person who can fix it. Except at this point in the story, it's just all the kids trying to do all the work. And I love watching this. I love the dynamic between the two siblings, who they are adopted siblings. So it's cool to see how they've built their relationship to each other. It's cool to see the main character was partially blind when she was born. So for her, the idea of being in darkness never scared her, because she had so much struggles with not being able to see when she was a kid, and she is the kid who was adopted. So for her, she's like, hey, you find your family wherever your family is, and being in the dark isn't that scary. And so she's kind of the leader of this group, because it's okay, well, I'm not afraid of any of the situations we're in right now. The only thing I'm afraid of is that, I'm going to be the one who leads all of these people to their destruction. Super great story. Scott Snyder, always wonderful, does great things. So, check it out if you haven't.
Yeah. I mean, everyone's so high on Nocterra. Yeah, I think it makes sense. You have such a good creative team with Tony S. Daniel. And these are our creators who've worked on Batman titles.
Right.
So it makes sense.
Yeah. Up next, Human Remains from Vault. This is issue 4? No, 7. I was going to say, it should be 7. Yeah. And we're BJ just said, I really need Nocterra to stop being so hooky. The art is crazy good, and every issue just digs you in deeper. It's so true. Every issue, you're this is the one where it's going to start to suck. And then he's like, haha, here's the thing. You're stuck now. Human Remains. This is a great book from Vault. This is all about, what if your emotions caused giant alien creatures to come and kill you? So if you experience anger or aggression or anything, happiness, love, any of those things, if you experience them, then you are going to be eaten by giant alien creatures. And we follow through this story as, we basically follow a scientist, the one scientist in this place who is the woman who's hey, this is how we need to fix this. This is the situation. And they're no, that's not the case. And I like this story because you think it's going in one direction and then it kind of went in a different direction. But we have a couple of different people that we're following, but we are learning as the thing goes on that most of them are actually related.
Okay.
And so it's kind of a family. It's an aunt and her nieces essentially. But I love this because this is very much your what was the Leo movie that I love so much that just came out? Oh my god, what was the name of that movie? The one that was really on Netflix that everybody liked, Leonardo DiCaprio movie that just came out where the scientist didn't believe him about
Don't Look Up.
Don't Look Up. We have a Don't Look Up scene, thank you. I was I'm gonna get there, but I'm not getting there fast enough. this book kind of has your Don't Look Up moment in that in this one, she actually goes back and tells everybody, like, hey, I figured out the science. Hey, I know what it is. And they're like, we're going to have to ask you to come with us. And, like, we're going to confiscate all of this information, everything you've been working on. Like, it's all, like, it's not going to be a thing anymore. And so once again, we've got this, like, aliens. We've kind of going through all the movies. Because I feel like we went through Independence Day and we went through this and that. And now we're going through Don't Look Up, where she's like, no, but here's really the way that this is working. And nobody believes her. Great book. A lot of fun. Peter Milligan on writing. So you get, like, a really cool story that changes pace, like, every time you think you're, like, settled in. It changes the direction and the pace a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, Peter Milligan has never disappointed me. This is one that I was waiting for in trade because I think I missed the first 2 issues. And, but yeah, I mean, the art, it looks great.
Oh, it's so much fun.
And I do like the concept for the story a lot.
Yeah. Up next.
7 issues.
Up next from our good buddies at Stonebot. I don't know them personally. We just love everything that they do.
Yeah.
From Stonebot, which is an imprint of Red 5 Comics, we've got Fictionauts, and this is issue 4 or 5?
This is
3. 3, okay.
Yes.
I just know it's the last one of at least this arc. So,
wait, is it?
Yeah, it says at the end. End.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah, so that's why I said just at least the art, because it does leave it on a cliffhanger. But
yeah, I was about to say, I was like, that leaves on a real heavy cliffhanger if this is where you're going to end this book. So yeah, this is the story, very pulp style. You have a team of astronaut travelers, much like Challengers of the Unknown, even kind of like Lost in Space a little. But they just kind of go around and fix fictional worlds. And in the second issue, there was kind of one of those like, hey, everything may not be as it seems kind of thing. Like there's a lot of stuff underneath the surface that you may not know what's going on. And this is kind of that reveal issue. It's like, hey, this is what's going on. And it's just wonderful. I love this book.
Everything I didn't understand in issue 2 is explained in issue 3. So I was like, oh, good. Because I was like, oh, this book kind of lost its way. And it was like, nope. It was actually just doing good storytelling. Yeah,
and you know, trying to set up all these different, you know, parts to this moving puzzle. And yeah.
God, I love that.
Yeah.
That shot was great.
It's just been such a fun book, and yeah, that I remember saying that second issue was, you know, kind of it took me back a little. I was a little nervous about reading issue 3, but it answered all the questions. The art's great. It gets real wonky towards the end of this book, but in a really great way.
And like heartfelt too. You get a really good like heartfelt story added into it, so it was great. I loved it. I would, if you made this as a like black and white movie, I would have probably watched the shit out of it. Like, like this is great. This is exactly what I want from like my old like pulpy like movies and even older than that.
Yeah, definitely check this out, knowing that this is the final issue in the arc. It's a good time. Nice little. I mean, that's how Mignola does some of his stuff as well. We'll talk about that later.
And a lot of people talk about like I've noticed that a lot of people are talking about Adventure Man right now and how much they love Adventure Man because of that pulpy feel. If you need something else, if you're an Adventure Man fan and you're like, I need something else that's like modernized pulp, Fictionauts is gonna be where you should go. In like on top of that, because that's another good one for that. And speaking of endings, Daisy issue 5 of 5 came out. This is from Dark Horse Comics. This is the story of a girl who's essentially a giant, but that is because she might be like Nephilim, like she might be the at least chosen one from the old angels, like the fallen angels, or the angels that have like mated and stuff. Honestly, you're reading this book for the art. It's extraordinary. It's a really, really good story too, but honestly, like you get into these pictures, and it's great. It's kind of like Jason Aaron's The Goddamn Virgin Brides. Like you're getting that lofty of a story, but you're also getting that like level of art at the same time. So sometimes you're like, what did I just read? And you have to go back because you got the story was a lot, and B, got distracted by the art on the page at the same time. You do get a lot of that. This is the wrap up of that. Daisy has been chosen by the angels essentially to become the person who will protect the children, also to possibly destroy. And that's been the thing the whole time. Daisy knows that she is basically this warrior for the angels against the one fallen angel who wants to go against them. And this is Daisy's battle come to life, and it's just like this one specifically, like in all of the other issues, I've been like reading the story and then I'm like, whoa, look at this art. And in this one I was like, oh yeah, there's a story, because there were so many cool things in this issue that they did with this art, and just really cool ways of paneling and layout designs and stuff in general. But this was such a good final issue, and it's Dark Horse, so I imagine we're going to see a beautiful hardcover that comes out to make Phil happy.
Yes, hence the reason why I've decided to wait. I feel like every time you talk about this book and I'm looking at this art, I'm like, wow, this is, like, the line work on this is really, like, this is amazing artwork. But, yeah, I see that Dark Horse logo and I'm like, it'll look really nice.
Getting my hardcover.
It'll look really nice on my shelf as a hardcover, and I can read it in its entirety. Because nowadays I feel like sometimes with some of these stories, you know, we do these live streams every week, and every once in a while I'm like, I wanna read this issue, but I don't remember the last issue enough to go back and figure it all out. So usually that's when I'm like, all right, trade wait. Yeah. I can trade wait for these.
We've got a lot of number ones this week. Yes. I guess not a decent amount of number ones. So we're gonna start with Miskatonic High number 1. This is from Advent Comics. If you missed our show last week, we had a whole conversation about Advent Comics and a bunch of the titles they're putting out. This doesn't seem like it's necessarily connected to the superhero universe that they were building at Advent. This kind of seems like this might be a YA, like if they had a YA imprint, this might be that. This is really, it's Lovecraftian because it's Miskatonic. So we've got a group of kids who are supposed to be in the like servant leadership program essentially at their school. They're all working to be volunteers. And they're supposed to be cleaning out an old lady's basement. And while they're doing that, they end up sucked up into another world that's filled with monsters and crazy things. And it might be that these kids, this group of kids, is like our Scooby-Doo gang that's meant to be the people who solve all of these like monster mysteries and things like that. And there's so much to each of them. I do like that you get a lot of each, you know, everybody's personality by the end of this book, like this issue. Like I was like, oh, this is the overachiever, but he's also like into this, and this is this guy, and oh, this is like the cool kid who's just doing this for the college credit. You get a little bit of that. It does have the problem of people who write for teenagers who don't know how teenagers talk, but overall, like, it's a fun book.
See, I actually kind of had the opposite feeling when I was reading this book.
Yeah?
I actually felt like they kind of in the very beginning were like, hey, here's some tropey high school characters. All right, here's your adventure. Like, we don't really have to dive too deep into it. I do think, yes, throughout the story you do kind of get that. But for me, this book moved so quickly. Like, it read like a one-shot.
It read like a one-shot.
And I was almost just sitting here like, I think this would have been better if it was either split up into a couple of issues or a bigger book.
This definitely reads like a one-shot, which for small press books, a lot of times I know that's the thing, is like, okay, make it in case we can't ever make another one. Like, give us enough of a story that we do have something. So I feel like they might have fallen into that, like, problem of, well, if you never get a second issue, like, how much of the story could you tell, and would it be a full story in and of itself? You do get that. But I am interested how this is going to keep going, because because you do get, like, this breakfast club of kids who are now working to solve weird monster mysteries. And I'm always in for that. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to see if we do get more issues, do we get more development? Because if they do know that they're going to keep going, will we see more from these characters, like, as they develop? I'm curious to see. I'm also curious to see what this world that they're, like, experiencing is.
Yeah.
Like, I'm excited. I do think, again, like, this is one of those, like, an adult that, like, tried to write YA that hasn't, like, read a lot of YA. So they're kind of like, oh, this is what teenagers sound like. So I'm hoping that fleshes out a little bit more, too.
Yeah. Yeah, it did feel kind of, there was, something about the writing was just a little off to me. But again, I mean, these are small presses, and they're going to take their time to find that footing.
Absolutely. It's good. I think it's a good story. For when it comes to YA, I'm a harder judge. Like, if you ask me to judge any of the other books, like, I might have, like, a less critique on dialogue and things like that in other books. But because I am a YA writer, and I worked as, like, the YA person for so long, that's, like, for me, when it comes to that, I know how much, like, the teen readers are like, okay, but let's be honest, like, that's not how we sound. And how much that's the first thing they call out in the book. So for me, I look at that. But overall, I really like the story, and I want to see more from this story. And I want to see them get their footing in issue 2.
Right. And, I mean, I am a fan of Scooby-Doo, so that is an appeal to me. I do kind of like the, like, hey, we're going to solve everything in one issue and maybe leave it open, potentially. But I also kind of sort of can see that fitting into the universe they're building.
You could.
You know, very much like one of those side teams that kind of work around the superhero aspect of it. So
I'm excited that they've gotten so many books out. Like, that they're, like, trying. Like, they're, like, to have, like, a couple of books, like, in the last 2 weeks. Like, I'm really excited to see what Advent Comics becomes. Because looking at the back of that book, I was like, oh, it looks like they might have had books, like, going back a while that kind of like we talked about with Vault, like, people didn't see, like, those first, like, that first wave. They didn't see how long they'd been doing it. And so I like that Advent is kind of like, hey, let's just treat it like we're starting over, and let's put all these books out. And now people, you know, as people are starting to see it, like, maybe they'll build those universes even more. And it's like, yes, you're going to see some of these. So it's like, oh, the first couple issues, like, you can see how we were developing it, but then it, like, solidly hits at a point. So I'm in. I want to see more from Advent and see what they do. Speaking of things just coming back and being amazing and doing things all the time, you all love Sandman. And they decided, hey, what if we continued the Sandman universe even more so? But now this time, let's give it to James Tynion.
I mean, why not?
Why not? So James Tynion is writing a book called Nightmare Country, which is supposed to be like a Sandman kind of continuation. It follows the Corinthian, I believe, is the name of the character. I'm terrible at Sandman names, I'm sorry. But I think that's what Josh told me. But this is a cool book because it's James Tynion on writing. And if you've never read Sandman, you're not lost, which I think is a really important thing. I'm going to be honest, I never read a lot of Sandman. When I was a kid, I hated Wonder Woman because everybody, when I would want to play superheroes with my cousins or friends that were boys, they'd always say, you have to be Wonder Woman because you're a girl. Like, girls have to be Wonder Woman. So I hated Wonder Woman. Well, the same thing was always said, like, oh, girls love Neil Gaiman and they only read Sandman. So I was, like, adamant that I was not going to read Sandman when I first, like, started, like, buying my own comics. And I know that's, like, a detriment to myself. So I do plan on going back and reading Sandman just because of that. But knowing that I know very little, I read the Dreaming series by G. Willow Wilson. So knowing I know very little about the Sandman world, I understood what was happening in this book very well. But that's James Tynion for you. He's so good at connecting pieces that you don't know. The other thing is Lysandro, who does the art on Redneck, did the art in this, and I love that he actually works really hard to match the original Sandman art.
Yeah, it looks that way.
It's super cool, and then they go into the dreaming world at one point, and all that art is done by Yannick Paquette. So
Sweet.
You've got 2 all-star artists, like, working on this book. I'm so excited. Yannick Paquette's art, like, it's so funny because you can tell. You, like, I love this side by side. Like, you've got that, like, Sandman classic style, but, like, by Lysandro. And then you've got Yannick Paquette on the next page, and you're like, whoa, okay, there's something. This is an obvious switch right here. And I enjoyed this book. I'm going to read this series. This series made me want to go back and read Sandman more than anything else that I've read from the Sandman universe has. So if you haven't ever read Sandman, this might be the book that draws you into it. But there's literally a book about how to run a comic book store, like, that was written in the 90s. That's like, make sure you carry Sandman because women love Neil Gaiman. Am I right? And I was like, oh my God, I can never read Neil Gaiman books now. It's just so offensively worded.
Yeah.
I'm getting there, guys. I'm getting there. Image is celebrating their 30th anniversary this year. We're all old. But Image is celebrating their 30th anniversary. You can't tell that says Image 30th on there, but they are doing an anthology series all year long in honor of the 30th anniversary. And it's fantastic. There's just little one-shot stories or just little stories. I guess I don't even know if they're one-shots because they look like they continue throughout this Image book. But there are little stories from different creators. The first one in this book is actually by Jeff Johns and Andrea Muti. So you get some Muti art, which I am here for. I don't know if it connects to another story. It probably does because they all do. But I haven't read it. I was just there for the Andrea Muti art. I'm not going to lie.
What an interesting team up, too. Jeff Johns and Andrea Muti. Wow. Okay.
I believe that's who it was. Oh my God, am I wrong? Double check me. I'm sorry. I just pulled that away from your hand. Yeah, Jeff Johns and Andrew Moody. Okay, I was like, was I wrong? There is also, for those of you Radiant Black fans in here, there is a Radiant Black story. Oh, that's cool. And I know Radiant Black fans are completionists, so there is a Radiant Black story in here that may or may not be necessary to your Radiant Black world, so make sure you grab that. BJ said, I hate that I'm saying this, but I can't resist a Tanya #1. Can you drop that in my box? Bro, I put that in your box on Tuesday. Don't you worry, my friend. And also, if anybody had to write Sandman, he's got his tie-in. But anyway, if you have a love for any Image book, you're going to need to do this. And if you did not get a copy of the Image timeline that came out earlier this year, do yourself a favor and read that, because it's fantastic. I might need to order more because I put that in everybody who loves Image's hands too. But this is a great way to just get some more more love for your favorite characters.
I remember when that timeline book came out, all day Shannon was just walking around being like, hey, did you know that in December of 2012? And you're like, oh, cool. I had no idea.
Yeah, this book is literally just called Image 30th Anniversary. So if you're like, where is that Image 30th Anniversary book? I'll know what you mean because it doesn't actually have a title. It's just called Image 30th Anniversary Anthology.
You said they're doing these all year long. Is there another one?
There is. There's going to be one. It's a monthly thing. And like we've got stories in here from Jeff Johns, Declan Shavley, Mirka and Dolfo, Kyle Higgins, which is obviously the Radiant Black story.
Ooh, Erica Henderson art.
No Spawn?
No Spawn yet. Scotty Young, which there wasn't any Spawn in any of the other stuff that's come out, really. But this is cool because we did the Skybound X book, and those were just Skybound titles. This is going to go across all of Image for the last 30 years, so I think that's super cool.
Yeah, there's some cool stuff in this book.
The Scotty Young one is my favorite because it's literally just Scotty Young writing about how he doesn't know what he's supposed to be writing for the 30th anniversary. And it's like, hey, it's Eric. What's going on with your story? And he's like, oh, I've got a great story for you. And he's like, cool, what's it about? And he's like, my family. And he like goes to his family and the show's like Scotty Young. He's like literally, it's like drawings of Scotty Young going to his wife. And she's like, I don't care what your story is about. Can you take the trash out? And then he's like, what about you, to his son? And his son's like the younger son's like, well, what if the story was all about how I say a bunch of bad words, but it's cute because I'm precocious? And he's like, and then it just shows him talking to his older son who's like, dude, I don't care what you do. And so it's such a great,
and these stories will continue.
Yeah, a lot of them have to be continued. That's why I was like, it's not an anthology of like one shots. It's like, this is going to be the only place you can get these stories will be there. So you got to get these, and I think they're going to add more throughout, but I'm not sure. It's all up in the air. I don't know. Up next is a #1 from Steve Niles called A Town Called Terror.
Yes, Steve Niles doing a horror book.
Nobody is surprised by that statement.
Not at all. This is a really interesting story. You have some dark stuff going on. We are kind of... I love this 2-page spread. Can I also say a very cinematic opening to this book? I really love the way they kick this book off. Because you have this, which is not even, it's supposed to be the title page, but there's no title here. And then it goes into the, like, written by Stephen Niles, art by Sismon? How do you pronounce that? Sismon Kudranski?
Is it like Simon? Sisman? I don't know.
There's a Z in there. So Sismon?
I mean, there are a lot of letters and names sometimes.
Yes. But... Oh, yeah, that are silent. But yeah, so this is the story of a son who has to return to see his father, who is not human. Or something, but it's hard to tell. We
might be getting another Universal Monsters kind of universe. Maybe. We may be getting a different kind of monster. We don't know yet, because this book only alludes to all of the things.
Yes.
Which is a great issue 1, because I'm like, I don't really know what any of these people are, but I need to know.
Yeah, and it gives you these, like, really small moments. Like, in the beginning, the father is, like, being reanimated. And he's like, how was my funeral, you know? And it's like, okay. And then the son is living his normal life and has to return to this town, which even there's this cool little, like, two-panel moment where as the car's entering the town, you can only see one half of it in one panel and then the other half, you know. And so there's all these, like, little things where you're like, okay, what's going on exactly? We know that there is not a good relationship between the father and the son, and he's not really looking forward to being where he has to be. But it's great, and the artwork is phenomenal. It fits so well with the vibe of this book. I mean, I was here for Steve Niles, because anytime he's got a horror book on the shelves, you know it's going to be really good. But yeah, everything about this book is just great.
We have a collection of subscribers who are literally just here for anything horror. And I ordered this book for all of them. And there were so many of them this week that came in on Wednesday that were like, hey, there's this book that I wanted to get. It's called, I was like, A Town Called Terror. And they're like, yes, how did you know? And I'm like, oh, I know. I was like, wait till you open it. Because it kind of has, you know, we've been talking a lot this week about Black of Heart. And it kind of has that same, like, darkness that you can't really see what's happening until you really stare at the panel. Like, it kind of has that look to it in some of the paneling, and I love that. And I love how dark this book is. And honestly, if the world is just going to be filled with monster books right now, I'm okay with that. Like, let's just have some great monsters. I'm here for it.
Yeah, I'll show this off. This nice 2-page spread. I mean, this is a book that has everything. The art, the story, I think is going to be really great, even though I have no idea. You know, it's kind of like how every haunted house story starts, where you pull up and you're like, I don't think anything good's going to come from this.
But, you know.
But I'm intrigued. Also, this cover looks great. I mean, it's very much like horror movie homage with the eyes right there. It just looks so cool.
I love that you guys can't see Phil's notes, but I can. And I love that Phil's note on this book is big fan of everything this book has to offer. And I'm like, that's later, but it's not even on that one. Oh, that's another one. We'll talk about that later. Okay. Because I was like, oh man. But yeah, oh man, we are totally going to talk about that book. We're going to talk shit out of that book. Yeah.
There's honestly, like, this was not a pick of the week just because there were so many other really good books.
We struggle with picks of the weeks. We wanted all of them there this week.
Yeah, I read like I think like the first 6 books that I read, I was like, oh, this is a pick of the week. Oh, this is a pick of the week. Oh, this is definitely a pick of the week.
I did the same thing when I made picks of the week, so you guys are going to love this when we get there, because I had a stack and I was like, I'm going to mix them back in because I don't want to like sway Phil's opinions.
Oh, okay.
But I was like, I really just want to be like, Phil, all of these are in
There was one that I immediately, the moment I opened it up, I was like, this is definitely Shannon's pick of the week.
Oh, yeah, it's this one. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. You already knew that. I've been talking about it for 6 months.
But then I read it, and I was like, yo, this book is amazing.
Keenspot has the Orange Blossom Monkey Clan #1 out this week. And Phil, you were like, I love this book, so...
I did not say that.
No? I thought you did. Okay, tell me what you thought of this book.
So, this is the story of a guy, a monkey, who loves comic books and dreams And that's really about all I know about this book. This was an extremely confusing book for me.
I figured out, at least halfway through this book, that if you are not reading Keenspot's major title, which is Ninja Robots, you will not have any idea what's going on in this book.
Then that is why I have
Yeah,
no
and
idea
I'm not.
but
I know that they have that book, Ninja Robots, because they keep referencing Ninja Robots. Yeah. And that is Keenspot's, like, one of Keenspot's biggest titles. I actually like, you just showed it, the like backstory. And I'm here for if we get to the backstory becoming the story.
Yes.
This issue was all about, like, and because the art's cool.
The art is cool. It's a bit too messy for me. Like, I like messy art, but sometimes in this book there are pages where I'm like, you could have maybe done this slightly better. But yeah, I was very confused. I have not read any other Keenspot book. But of course, like, I flipped open the art and I was like, oh, this is going to be great. And then there were some moments where it was like very over-sexualizing.
Yes.
And there were a lot of like double entendres. Yes. And I'll be honest, I got to page like 4 or 5 of this book and someone made a comment about like, they're walking along a trail and he's like, I just like the view from back here. And I put the book down. And I was like, I don't want to read this anymore. This is not good at all. But then I picked it back up and I finished it. And it actually, second half,
the second half's
got
better
a
than the first
little
half.
bit better. Like, enough to make me somewhat interested.
The second half of the book starts to tell the actual story.
Yes.
And again, I think that first half, they were like, oh, well, we'll get people into it by, like, making these characters, like, into a book that is really popular for us. But I didn't need that. I actually wanted you to just tell me the story that was in your backstory at the beginning, because that was badass.
Yeah.
And so I hope that issue 2 gives us that, because I would be interested in seeing that. Because it's kind of Gorillas-esque in the art, but like you said, a little bit messier than the Gorilla style art. And it could be a really great story if it goes off of what that backstory is, and I hope we get that. And I'm intrigued enough by that backstory.
Same.
To read issue 2 to see if we get it. But yeah, I was like, the first half of the book, I was like, I didn't read Ninja Robots, so you've lost me, which is a terrible idea.
Well, it's my biggest issue was like, it was a dream sequence, and then you was kind of awake for a second, and then all of a sudden you're inside of a comic book, but there's no indication, and I didn't understand that we were reading the pages of a comic book until it shows you the panel of him reading the comic book. Yeah. And you're like, oh.
The first half confused me a lot.
Now I see.
And I felt the same as you, especially as a female reader. I was like, this isn't really for me.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay. I like what you're doing with the second half of the book. We could have just made the whole book the second half of the book and not and I like a lot of the Keenspot books. We talked about one, I think, last week with Grubbs. Yes. The Dennis Smith style books. They do a lot of really good kids books. They're actually the one their kids books are printed in the dyslexic friendly font.
Oh, okay.
So I love that about Keenspot, but for like I definitely think we need to focus on where this story could go, and it could be a lot of fun.
Right.
But that first half, I was like, we don't need this. We didn't need any of this.
Yeah, that first little bit. Because I was the same way. Like, that opening little bit about the back, like the moon rabbit.
Yeah, the moon rabbit.
I was like, oh, this is going to be so awesome. And then...
Yeah, it was all based in, actual folklore.
Right.
And so I thought we were going to get, like, these monkeys and a Usagi, a rabbit, actually doing this actual folklore story. So I was like, putting that first, I think, kind of tainted what I got after, but it also gave me hope for that second half of the book. So we'll see. I don't know. We're going to talk about Keenspot a little bit later today in news.
Yeah, so, if they can move away from that first half of the book, I'm on board.
Yeah.
I'm definitely.
We've got a one-shot, which they stopped calling them that, and I'm offended by it. But I'm very offended by the fact that they got rid of that awesome title. But this is from Aftershock. This is Midnight Rose. It is a one-shot, and it is by Jim Starlin. And Aftershock, I know you watched this, and I love you. I thought One Shock was the most awesome name for your one-shots ever, because you're called Aftershock, and your kid's imprint is also based off of, like, earthquakes, and you talk about your Tremors being your, like, fandom discussion. One Shot was great. Let's keep it. Don't listen to the internet if they said it was confusing, because I love it and I'm on the internet, so therefore it's also true. Yeah. I don't know if that's how that works, but I feel like that's how it works. One Shot. I'm going to keep calling them that even if they don't. Anyway, Jim Starlin wrote a book that's not about Thanos.
Yes. Like Shannon said, this is a one shot. Thank you. I am gonna say that I read this issue with rose-tinted glasses.
Oh.
I was not seeing a lot of the same stuff that Shannon was when we started talking about this book, because I immediately just saw like a dark, twisted, kind of like an alternate universe Poison Ivy story. Yes. Which is kind of what it is. You're going to see the story of this woman from birth to death all in one shot, of just her dealing with being basically Poison Ivy. Like, she has a relationship with plants.
I do like the way she describes it too. She's like, I have a relationship with plants and the plants have a relationship with me.
Yeah. She kind of feels like she has had a really rough life. But she's given these powers to kind of, in a way, pave her own way.
Yeah.
And she does not really use these powers for good.
Yeah.
She learns early on that, men are easily manipulative. Like, you can manipulate them very easily. And she also realizes that she has these dark powers that she can use to pretty much push back at men kind of sucking.
Yeah, I'm not against this book. I would like to say that. This book is just very 90s version of the story that it's telling. It's the dialogue is 90s, the art is 90s, the concept is 90s. I do like that the first little relationship that she was in. I was all for it. Like, because I was like, oh, this guy's a cheater. He's like a jerk. She's sitting there and she's in love with this guy. But at the same time, my problem was that, like, everything for her was like, I just want to be in a relationship. Like, I want somebody to love me.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, because I love Poison Ivy for the fact that Poison Ivy is like, dude, you guys fucked up the planet. You don't deserve to live. Like, yeah. You've done this to yourselves. Nature and I are taking this back. Poison Ivy isn't just like, oh, well, since you didn't like me, I'm gonna kill you. And they barely, boiled this woman down to that being, her root cause. No pun intended. For what she does. But because you had the opportunity to tell, a really, really cool story.
Well, and in the beginning, they kind of
started the first few pages. I was on her side.
Yeah, because she was like, "I'm tired of being a victim, and I'm no longer gonna let that. Like, I'm gonna,
Yeah, and it was because everybody was an asshole, and she does that, and when the house burns and all that, I was like, I'm
so
here
cool.
for this.
I thought that was so cool.
I am here for this, and then it turns into just her trying to find the perfect man for her to date, and if they're not perfect, she kills them, and I was like, okay, well, now you've, made her shallow.
Yeah.
And you've lost, the depth of the story that you gave her at the beginning, where now she's just, killing people because they don't live up to her expectations. And then it kind of, for me, it kind of, it needed to be more than a one-shot.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like if it was not a one-shot, it would actually be a better story, because the police are investigating and you don't get time for the police investigation. They're literally hey, we found that all of this stuff is coming up. And then in the next scene, they're and we arrested you for this reason. And I was like, what happened to the investigation that you just started?
Yeah.
I actually would be fine if we saw this as a full series. I think we would have gotten a better story. I do think that her as a character could be somebody really, really cool. And there was moments in there. But you are getting 90s dialogue and 90s art and 90s storytelling. So I know I have a ton of people who, though, are I really miss 90s comics. I'm going to put this book in your hand. If you come in here and you say, I miss Witchblood, or I miss Witchblade, sorry. Witchblade is awesome. Modern book. If you miss Witchblade and you miss all the Valiant in the 90s and you miss the early Image stuff, if you're oh, I miss early Image days, this is your book.
Right.
This is 1992 Image comics, 100%. Yeah. And that's not a bad thing. Mm-hmm. That's not a bad thing at all. And you're gonna get that. You get to relive those moments. But at the same time, I was like, I really, really liked Death in the Infinity Gauntlet. And I was thinking we were going to get, like, Death.
I thought we were just going to get, like, a super badass independent chick who just is going around causing chaos, which I was on board for. And I guess because in this book, for me, like, he had that moment in the beginning where he's like, I'm not going to be a victim anymore. You know, I'm going to, watch out for me. And so my eyes just kind of rolled back into my head and just enjoyed the action side of it. Because there was a lot of really cool scenes in here with her. I
do like the way she, like, deals with people. The way she deals with people is fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, why isn't Poison Ivy actually doing that? Right. I don't know. So there is a lot, like, there's a lot of elements of this that I really like. And then there was a lot of elements that I was like, oh, we missed it. Yeah. And there is that whole conversation all the time about, like, the female gaze, like, oh, like, we made this strong female character, but it's still shot from a male point of view. Like, Joss Whedon's Justice League. Oh, well, Wonder Woman's like, oh, she's been this badass character, but then all of the Joss Whedon shots are up her ass. Like, you can see up her skirt. And I kind of felt like this was, like, the badass female who's not going to be a victim from the male gaze.
Yeah, because, I mean, she's definitely, she's that busty, like, big-eyed female character. It kind of made me think of, what was that movie about the alien female species?
Species? That's a good reference.
That's kind of how...
Also the 90s.
Yeah, again, the 90s.
90s!
It definitely got that vibe. But, I mean, it's Jim Starlin.
Right.
Like, you have an old white guy writing a story about a female lead. So that doesn't surprise me that...
Right, give this same concept to Stephanie Phillips or Krista Faust, and let's see what happens.
Or Becky Cloonan.
Because I love the concept of this character.
Same.
And I think that the story itself, like, again, maybe if it was a full series, it could be fleshed out into even more. But we only saw the highlights of it being about her, like, not getting the man that she wanted. And then she marries a rich dude, and it's like, I married a rich dude, so everything's fine.
But he's so sweet to me all the time.
That's where you lost me. I was like, okay, I can forgive old white man writing this story like this. And then it was like, oh, no, now the whole thing is she married a rich man, so she's okay with everything. All right, I'm out. I'm sorry. Like, I can't do it. So give the concept to somebody like Krista Faust or Stephanie Phillips and watch what they do with it. Or Becky, like you said, and it'd be phenomenal. Speaking of great stories, our last new number one that is not a pick of the week is Lead City from Red 5 Comics.
Oh my god.
Lead City. Sorry, oh my god.
It's okay. I wrote in my notes Dead City.
It's called Lead City. Yeah. We're both wrong because we've had too much wine and no sleep. So Lead City number one from Red 5. Let's rewind. Just rewind your video and delete that part from your brains and start over. Lead City number one, Red 5. Let's go.
Yes. So this is an old school Western where you have a family that is traveling to California. And they get separated from the group that they're with, and the wife falls ill, and they have to go and find a doctor in this small town. And it's actually two towns put together, which they were kind of they were like, why would someone build a town next to a town? This makes no sense to me. And so they are in this town, this man and his boy, and this man and his son, and they are having dinner and discover that there is something pretty fun. It's going to be coming down the pipeline. It turns out that every year they host a kind of every man for himself battle royale, which and it would give them the money that they need to continue on their travels and help take care of the mom. And so you kind of have this father who's like, you know what, I'm going to put up the only silver that I have and enter this competition. Mm-hmm. And I love that concept.
Yeah.
Fully on board.
I'm a huge Leonardo DiCaprio fan, so as a child I was obsessed with The Quick and the Dead.
Great movie.
And thank you for saying that. So for me, anything that's like this, and also my uncle's a farmer, so all I ever watched as a kid was Westerns, and so I remember going to my uncle and being like, have you seen The Quick and the Dead? And he's like, that's not a Western movie, and like telling me that it wasn't a Western. This is perfect to me in that capacity. Like, I get all of the, like, cheesy Western moments, but also you get, like, the happy, like, you get the modernized version of the storytelling.
Right.
I was all in, despite the fact that I said the name wrong earlier. But no, the same thing. It has that almost like you know, that stage play feel.
Right.
You get a lot of, oh my god, it was surprisingly good. And this was one of those where, like you said, where I was like, all of the books I read at the beginning, I could have just put them in my picks of the week. This was, I was like, how many picks of the week can I have?
Yeah.
Because I'm super in, and we talk about how the Western books have been another one that's really coming back, and we're seeing a lot of Western books, and I mean, it's Red 5, so you know I'm in, because I'm super into Red 5 books right now, but it was so good, and the dad, and how he's just like, I got this, like, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be so good, because I can't wait for the dad to, like, secretly be a badass that nobody knows about.
Right.
I'm like ready for it.
Which is
it's gonna happen.
What you know is gonna happen, because there's even that moment where the guy's like, these are all killers, and they have like the kung fu master and like the big wrestler, and they have all those like
tropes.
Typical Western tropey characters, and you're like, oh, there's no way he can go up against the best, but you know that second issue, there's going to be that moment where you're like, oh, shit.
This is going to be 4 issues of fantastic fun, and I cannot wait for issue 2. Red 5, thank you for once again making me super happy, because this book does that. And I love that their tagline, their quote that they pulled out was the tell me who you really are and where you're really from.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this is exactly that. Like, we know this dad is somebody that nobody knows that, like, he is. And he's like, oh, the mild-mannered, like, well, I don't really have any money to save my wife, but I'll do anything I can to save her. I'm going to sell my, like, oxen, and I'm going to do this. Yeah. And it's like, well, just as long as my boy, like, he's like, here's my pistol, son, like, keep this safe. And
that was a great moment, because once you unveil what the story is, because, like, he goes into the ghost town, and you're like, oh no, like, is this going to be a paranormal thing? But I did notice when he was handing the gun to his kid, he was like, this gun has saved your dad's life a bunch of times. I was like, oh, so he's used that gun a lot. Okay, and then when he comes out in the end, you're like, oh, you know this character is going to be a badass. Like, very easily.
I can't wait.
Yeah, definitely. This is another one of those, like, just barely missed the pick of the week.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh my gosh. BJ said, did you know that Sam Raimi snuck his car into The Quick and the Dead, hiding it under a wagon?
Did he?
That's amazing. I love that.
That is a great movie.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I gotta rewatch that. Anyway, so since we're pretty much talking about picks of the week, we're gonna actually jump into our picks of the week. Before we do, if you didn't catch the beginning of the thing, Bat City Comics is nominated for the Best of Austin. So if you haven't voted for Bat City Comic Professionals on the Best of Austin Chronicle poll, you can do that. Tonight is kind of your last night to do that, so pop on over there while you're watching, pull it up, vote for that, and while you're there, don't forget to vote for, like, favorite comic creators and things like that, including Donny Cates is nominated, our buddy Drew Edwards, who does Halloween Man, John Wilson, who's who's worked on a lot of cool things, including Halloween Man and other stuff, and also our good buddy Becky Cloonan as well. So vote for your favorite comic artist. It's and of course your favorite comic store, which we hope is us. And thanks again to everybody who nominated us. We're going to talk about our picks of the week right now, and hopefully this works. We're going to start with, we had a local creator come in this week and said, I really want to drop off my book. I want you guys to check it out. And before the man had even left the store, Philip told me this book, Tank McGregor and the Mechanical Menace, was his pick of the week.
Yes.
So
I read, I literally flipped to the middle. So this is more of like a graphic novel, it's really fantastic. I opened it up to like a random page in the book, and I just started reading the dialogue, and it's so cheesy. I mean, this is like your absurd, futuristic cop story. Like, there's a moment where he literally lights a cigarette by shooting a gun at it. Like, why?
Phil literally yelled out, I just need to tell the story. So the guy's name is Raymond. He goes by Ray. And Phil said, excuse me, sir? Sir? He's had his hand on the doorknob. And Phil's like, sir? And he's like, me? And he's like, yeah, I just want you to know, you have a guy shooting a gun to light a cigarette, and this is the best book I've read ever. And I was like, oh my God, Phil. Like, oh, it was so great. But it is fun. It is a fun book.
Yeah, it's a blast. I mean, you're gonna get your typical like cop going out and solving crimes with his robot sidekick, but the dialogue is just so silly. Like, it's so over the top. It's really funny. I mean, like I said, I saw the cigarette being shot with, like, being lit with the gun, and then there was this whole thing where he was fighting a guy. And he was talking about, like, going back for seconds. There was this whole food analogy. It was just so stupid.
And his name is Ronaldo Garza. I said Raymond, but it's Ronaldo. Ronaldo Garza. It's on the side. Yeah. It's fantastic. Hopefully he will be here for Free Comic Book Day. We're trying to get him out for Free Comic Book Day to bring copies so you can all get your copies of Tank McGregor, but the fact that his name is also Tank McGregor is a great name for a futuristic cop story. I can't wait. You guys all need to check it out. It's going to be great. Hopefully Ronaldo will be out here for Free Comic Book Day, and you'll get to check this book out yourselves.
Yeah, because we actually don't have any copies for sale.
These were given to us. I mean, if somebody really wants a copy of Tank McGregor, I can sell you mine. But we do have... We do have, just like he brought 2 copies for Phil and I to check out, but if somebody wants one, I will gladly sell it, because I would rather the creator get to his name out there. But hopefully, Phil's not giving it to you, but hopefully he'll be here for Free Comic Book Day on May 7th, so you can check it out. Speaking of books that Phil won't give you if you ask him for it, Radio Spaceman issue 2.
Actually, hold on, time out. So, the week that this book came out,
you
or
did
the week
give yours
after,
away. That's true.
I had a copy in my box. It was the last one in the store. Mm-hmm. But Dan Price, who is a good friend of ours and creator of Bigfoot Knows Karate, really wanted to read this book. I said, you know what? I have a copy. It's yours. I got a chance to read it here in the shop, and I just figured, why not? Why not give this to somebody else who's going to enjoy it? But this is Radio Spaceman. It is by Mike Mignola with art by Greg Hinkle and Dave Stewart on colors. This is another one of those like really amazing pulp stories, which is something that Mike Mignola is really good at. And this is a 2-issue miniseries. It's not going to be the end, so don't worry if you read issue 1 and you thought, oh, this is everything that I could ask for. This is probably going to be how it's going to go. You're going to get a lot of these miniseries, like 2 to 3 issue series, maybe 4. A lot of Lobster Johnson was like 4-issue miniseries. But this has everything. It's got kaijus, it's got vampires, it's got mysticism, all sorts of really wonderful pulpy things. And the main character is just like, he's a great hero. Mm-hmm. And like, I was a little nervous that 2 issues was not gonna be enough for this book. But it was. I think
he told the whole story in the 2 issues, but also set up a universe so that we could keep going back. Right.
Mm-hmm. And that's another great thing is there's some like, the villain in this book is great, and you could maybe see a return of, well, never mind. The universe building in this book, I think, is really wonderful. I think Greg Hinkle's art is solid. It hits everything that I would want from a book with Mike Mignola's name on it.
It's so funny because you were like, oh, this is one of my picks of the week, and I was like, oh, I didn't read that one, so you can talk about it. And I was like, wait, yes, I did. Oh my god, yeah. I have to read issue 2. And then I sat there and read issue 2, and I was like, I'm so glad I didn't skip this, because I totally forgot that I read issue 1, because usually I just hand you the Mignola books. Right. And then I was like, oh my god, I almost missed a really great story, and I'm glad I didn't miss it, because like you said, the art is fantastic. The story answers all the questions. I'm so great. Dan was watching earlier. I'm glad you mentioned that Dan got issue 1 for me because I will actually take this issue for Dan because I'm seeing him tomorrow.
Okay.
So thank you for letting me know.
Yeah, I want him to finish this series.
Finish this series. Yeah, I know he's also a Mignola fan. So, and if you have not read Bigfoot Knows Karate, we have Bigfoot Knows Karate in store still, so you can come in and grab your copies, and you should.
Yeah.
Because it's fantastic.
Yes, most definitely. Grab Radio Spaceman if we have copies. And then grab Bigfoot Knows Karate and enjoy them both because they are really, really wonderful books with great stories. You know, stuff you can't go wrong with.
Absolutely. Speaking of a great story, and I'm so glad this is back.
Yes.
Kaiju Score, issue 1, Steal from the Gods from Aftershock Comics. I did not realize that this was going to follow the girl from the previous story.
Michelle.
I knew it was going to follow. It was going to pick up again, and I knew it was going to be somebody from the team. I'm so excited that it's her.
Yes. So this is a continuation from the first series. You don't necessarily need to read the first one.
They recap it nicely.
Yeah, they kind of give you an idea, or at least set you into what possibly could have gone down. But I highly recommend reading that first series because it is a ton of fun. It's a great heist story. And you get that here as well, a continuation of it. We're going to follow Michelle, who was probably the most interesting character in that first one. And it's great because she kind of starts off with this little bit about how after that, the job that went down in the first series, she was like, I'm getting out of this life. And then immediately she's like, oh, but I didn't. I'm still in it. I've just, I've made it. I only do small crimes now. Right. And she's just kind of like, on cruise control with her new team. And then, of course, it's got kaiju in the name, so there has to be something kaiju related. And she is met by a very rich man, as all heist movies start, where it's like, I need you to steal something priceless for me. And he gives her this job that is awesome.
It's awesome. I don't want to spoil what the job is, but it's such a cool job.
A great premise for a heist. And I was like, oh my gosh. And in that moment, when the old rich dude tells her exactly what she has to do, my first thought was, I want them to Fast and Furious this series, and every 4-issue miniseries gets crazier and crazier.
And they are going to. 100%, this is the Fast and the Furious of the Aftershock world. This is Fast and Furious, 100%. It's getting weirder and crazier every time. They're going to drive a tank through a kaiju at some point.
Please.
It's got to happen. It's going to happen.
But yeah, this, and of course, she agrees. She says, sure, why not? I'll go on this adventure. And it's going to be a ton of fun. Who is
the colorist on this Kaiju Score? Because
Dave Sharp, I believe.
Is it? I love the colors that Kaiju Score uses. It's such a fun, bright, vibrant book all the time. And, I have absolutely loved...
Oh, no. Dave Sharp's a colorist.
The letterist.
Dave Stewart's the
Rimbroo does. Brew. Okay.
Yeah, so it's all
art
Rimbroo.
And color. Okay.
Yeah.
It's been such a good book. The first volume of Kaiju Score was fantastic. We're going to talk about it in a little bit. But also just this, oh my God, I'm so excited we're back. And I'm so excited that it follows Michelle because she was such a good character. Yeah. Like you said, she was the best character coming out of the volume 1. And so I'm glad it's her. And I love the gardener. I'm already in for whatever the gardener does.
Yes, that scene was so great.
It's so good. If you are a fan of heist books at all, or heist movies or anything, you need to read Kaiju Score, and you need to get Kaiju Score Volume 2 because it's gonna be great.
Yeah, it's gonna be a ton of fun, and again, kaiju's, heists, and of course, kind of that Fast and Furious, where it's like they're gonna try and one up the series before it.
Yeah, and if that is Fast and the Furious, our next book is Ocean's 11.
Yes, I put that in my notes.
Did you really?
Yes.
Well, okay, so the next book is Breakout, issue 1 from Dark Horse Comics. And talk about a book that I was like, okay, I'll just put this in my to-read pile. And then it was like, shit, this is a pick of the week.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Breakout, literally the breakout of the week, kind of over here, from Dark Horse Comics. will be honest, I am a huge Ocean's 11's fan.
Same.
I love it. They're cheesy. That's great. But I can't stop. I will watch them all. I love them. I can watch it a million times. This is that book. This is Ocean's 11 with like an alien twist to it.
And it's really wonderful because there's a moment in this book because it is a sci-fi heist.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a moment where these two brothers are watching movies, and he says, "Our dad loved science fiction. All we watched was science fiction and heist movies."
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "That's the two things that we watched." And immediately I thought, okay, that's what this book is.
This is what this book is.
So this is set in a world where every few days these cubes come down onto Earth and take young people. I don't want to say kids because I think they said it's anywhere
up
from
to
like
20.
Yeah, up to 27.
Mm-hmm.
And they just come down and they take like 216 or 2100. They take a certain amount of kids, and they basically say that in the beginning, you know, they tried to fight it. The military went out there, nothing worked. They could not figure out how to do it. And eventually it just got to the point where the adults were like, you know what? The cubes are going to come down and take kids, and that's really all we can do. There's nothing, you know, it's just...
The adults just gave up.
Yeah,
they were like,
no,
well, sucks to suck. Kids are going to die.
Yeah, and so this kid decides that after his little brother is taken... that he is going to use his love for engineering and sci-fi heist movies and his love for robotics, and he is going to devise a plan to break into a cube and try and get his brother out. It even has that really wonderful, like, putting the team together montage where it's like, here's the cheerleader, and we're going to use her, and they have the little... In each one, there's that little brief moment of dialogue, like in Ocean's 11.
It's exactly like Ocean's 11. Like, you expect to see, like, if you're going modern Ocean's 11, you expect to see Brad Pitt, like, eating food in the corner, like, while they're talking.
But with an even cooler twist. Like, the art in this book is great, but, like, I was so impressed by this book. Like, I was not expecting it.
It came out of nowhere for me.
All. Yeah, I even saw the cover in the reading pile, and I kept skipping it because I was like, "Oh, this looks cooler. Oh, this looks cooler."
And I saw it in your pile, and I saw you keep moving it, and I was like, I need to go tell him like he needs to read that because it's possibly a pick of the week. Because this is the one. Honestly, this was the book where I read it, and I was like, "Shit, everything's gonna be a pick of the week." Because I read that I knew it was going to be pick of the week. And then I read Kaiju Score, which I knew was going to be a pick of the week. Right. And then I read this, and I was like, damn, is every book going to be on the picks of the week this week? Yeah. And I love that he even, like, when he, like, is buying stuff on the dark web, he even uses the name Mr. Ocean. Yep. And so there's a lot of Ocean's 11, like, throwback calls in here, but there is a lot of sci-fi calls in here. You know, even to the point that it is the cubes, because that's a Doctor Who reference. Right. Like, there's an episode of Doctor Who where a bunch of cubes come down. Like, you get a lot of just classic on all sides thing. This is the book that you wrote down. This is a big fan of everything in the book. Yeah. And same. And I love that, like, he goes back to... Because it does feel, even, like, the Ocean's 11-ness of it, he goes back to the one friend that he's like, well, we haven't talked in, like, 4 years. And he's like, well, has it been that long? Like, and the dialogue is that quippiness that you get in movies like that, where it's like, no, it's not that. You see that, you think we need one more? We need one more. Like, the other guy doesn't even say anything. He's already got that. You've got that, like, quippy, like, dialogue. I love it so much. This team is fantastic. The characters, like, it's going to be such a good book. It's going to be heartfelt. It's going to have this great, like, awesome, like, twist all around. I'm so in for everything this book does. If you did not pick up Breakout this week, do yourself a favor and grab issue 1 while you still can, because this is a great book and you're going to want to jump in. Don't wait on it. Like, don't sleep on Breakout. It's going to be so much fun the whole way through. And you're going to get all of the stuff that's going to be wonderful about, like, this is your combination of all things great in a comic book.
And of course, being a dark horse title,
You're going to get an awesome hardcover when it does come out in trade.
I will get my wonderful hardcover, and I want it to have a giant cube on the front.
Oh my god, could you imagine if they like embossed it to where it was like a raised cube and it was just this really cool thing? And oh man, I can't wait to see what Dark Horse does with that cover or that hardcover edition in general, because it's going to be fantastic. But seriously, breakout book of the week.
Yeah.
Had no idea. I remember when I ordered it, I was like, it kind of sounds a little cheesy. I don't know if it's going to be that great. And then it came in, and I was like, well, I guess I'll read it. Like, I just read Kaiju Score, so I'm in, like, a, like, cheesy, fun heist mood. So, like, I'll read Breakout, and I was like, oh, shit. Like, this is so good.
Well, I mean, very, very much like you, the Ocean's 11 trilogy, all three of them are some
or four, because there is Ocean's 8 with
Ocean's
the females,
8, yes.
who, I mean, let's take 5 seconds to just have a moment of silence for Cate Blanchett looking freaking hot as hell in that movie.
Always.
Oh my god, I love Cate Blanchett. She is perfection.
Yeah, and that one was good too.
Yeah.
I mean,
the trilogy.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for heist movies, but it's really hard to compete with that George Clooney Brad Pitt duo, because their back and forths were just
so good,
next level impressive. So yeah, I mean, being a big Ocean's 11 fan, this was everything I needed in a book. Yeah.
Speaking of everything you need in a book, for the last 7 years, I've been telling you that this book was coming out that I couldn't wait for, and I predetermined that it was a pick of the week, and I was really hoping it did not suck. Thank God it didn't, because Vanity, issue 1 from Black Caravan is here with this incredible Joseph Smockie cover, and the back cover also by Joseph Smockie. Oh my gosh. Okay. I don't even, there is one problem.
So much excitement.
I'll start with the one problem that I have with this book is that the introduction is phenomenal, but it is done in the worst way possible. The introduction is done in a scripty format, scripty font, but there's no paragraphs in it, so it's really hard to read. But if you buy this book, please read the introduction because it's freaking fantastic. I love it. This entire book is...
I didn't read the introduction.
I know you didn't.
I knew you was like, there's no way.
I literally read it knowing that you wouldn't. This was awful design element, which Joseph Smockie did the design work for the book, so Smockie, I love you, but somebody should have told them to break this up into paragraphs. I know you were saving space, but it needs to be read, and people
don't
are
worry,
gonna...
it's not one page.
People aren't going to read it because of the way it looks, but seriously, I
almost did.
It was the first thing that I read, and I came out to Matt, and I was like, the introduction of Vanity is my pick of the week, and it's not even, going to be read by anybody ever. I freaking loved it so much. However, this entire book is the story of Elizabeth Bathory. Now, the reason the introduction is so important is it does actually go into the history of whether or not Elizabeth Bathory was, if you don't know, Elizabeth Bathory is one of the most largest serial killers. I don't know how we're going to say this. Elizabeth Bathory killed, allegedly, a lot of people. And then bathed in their blood. And she is the inspiration for Dracula before Vlad the Impaler. She is one of the big inspirations that is accredited with the story of Dracula, because she did actually live at the base of the Carpathian Forest and all of that. She is a Hungarian serial killer and the biggest known female serial killer. But the thing is, there's actually no proof of any of that. And so the introduction talks about how reality is that all we know for a fact was that she was a female who was unmarried, who had all of the land in Hungary, and the king wanted all of this land that she had back, and then the Protestants came in, and there was this whole religious thing. So it could have all just been a witch hunt after her, and the introduction explains all of that and how that works, and you don't read any of that because it's that small print. However, if you don't read that, you'll still really enjoy the story, because it does start with gravediggers burying her, and then flashes back to her birth and all of the stuff that goes on with her, and whether or not it is where she does fall. Coolest thing ever. So the writer of this book is actually a Hungarian person who lives by the Carpathian Mountains and Forest, who is an alchemist.
Oh, shit.
I am 100% in for whatever this writer does from here on out because of, like, all of the... It's like, oh, he's an alchemist and he studies all of these things and he does all these things, and in his spare time he writes things. And I was like, oh my god, I'm so here for this. This is gonna be great. So it is people from, like, the actual region who have known this whole story their whole lives, writing the story and giving us an Elizabeth Bathory story. And you do actually get her called by, like, what it would be. Like, it's Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Like, it's actually, like, the Hungarian spelling of her name and all of that. This, oh my god, it's so good. I'm gonna let you talk about it for a second because I'm just gonna keep gushing about how much I love it.
Yeah, I was almost to the point where I wasn't going to read this book because of the introduction, and I'm very grateful that I did because it is done really well. Like, you get to see her as a child growing up, and they do this really wonderful thing where each page they're like, and you must do this because this is how a lady does it. And she's like very, like, every single time she does something differently, or like she mocks something, or she's like, oh, well, it doesn't make sense why we do it this way. You know, she's very rebellious. And that was something that, like, I was immediately drawn to. I was like, oh, this is awesome. And I don't know that story. I didn't read the introduction, so I had no idea what was coming. But the great thing is you don't need to read the introduction. You don't have to, because the prologue, which is the Gravediggers, they're pretty much like, oh, you don't know the story? She's like the most evil human being on this planet. And you're like, okay, cool. That's all I need to know, is we're about to see the story of a very evil human being. Who
may or may not be an evil human being in the end.
Right.
And that's what I love about the actual... And the introduction is written by the creator of Vampire the Masquerade.
Okay.
Which is cool. Who actually did all this research, because, like I said, Elizabeth Bathory, people have assumed that she was, like, a Dracula type person because she was bathing in the blood. And I love the scene where she first is in the bathtub and this blood is in the bathtub with her as a child even. And she's like, oh, this is an awakening. This is an experience. I already knew this was my pick of the week. And I was just, again, hoping that it didn't suck. And it actually exceeded my expectations. Because, like, you could have been a moderate book. And I would have been like, yay, Elizabeth Bathory got a comic book. And would still been in. But then it was actually really, really good. And I was like, oh, hell yeah, this is going to be great. And the fact that it's done by actual, like, Hungarian team. Who grew up in, like, the Carpathian area. Who were actually telling us this story. Like, this is, like... people who are in Transylvania telling us the story of Dracula. Like, literally, like, that is the case, because they are Hungarian telling us the story of Elizabeth Bathory, so this is literally, like, Transylvanians telling us the story of Dracula. And then to turn it into just a feminist story is such a fantastic thing. I cannot wait to see where this book goes.
And so the last 3 panels here of this issue, I love it, because she just has her period for the first time. And she goes, am I cursed? And the lady goes, of course not. It simply means that you are a woman. And that little bit of dialogue was just like gave me chills, because I was like, whoa, okay, this book is going to be intense and it's going to be awesome. And it's really well written.
Yes, it's very well written.
Yeah, I started reading this and I was like, oh, this is obviously Shann's pick of the week. And I got to the end of it and I was like, oh, this is my pick of the week too.
I know, when I was worried that you were going to be like, that's not a pick of the week. When you came, like, and read them, I was like, oh my god, I'm so biased. So I feel like, what if this book does suck to, like, everybody else? And then you were like, these are my picks of the week. And I, like, slowly went through them because I was scared it wasn't going to be in there. And I saw, like, the red and I was like, oh, thank God. Like, other people enjoyed this book as much as me. Good. Because I love the way the art is. I love the way it fits, like, the old style, but also at the same time is very modern. I love the choices they made for what they show. Like, you just had that shot where she tastes the blood on her finger.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought, what a cool way to, like, set it up as, like, this could be, like, a Dracula kind of story, or this could be about that, but, like, maybe it's not.
Yeah.
At the same time, because they are pushing this, like, this, you know, subjective, like, oh, women should be, like, the weaker sex, like, on her at the same time. But then all she does in the moment is taste blood, and she's like,
well, she tastes blood after delivering a super badass line. They're talking about heaven and hell, and how some people go to heaven and some people go to hell. and how her father isn't going to go to hell because all of the people he murdered was in the name of God for war.
Yeah.
And she goes, if I want to go to heaven, I must serve God? And she goes, of course. She goes, but I'm a countess, not a servant. When I grow up, I'll order my army to conquer heaven, and I'll serve no one. And immediately I was like, I want this girl to fucking rage out, go nuts, kill whoever you want. I'm in support.
Well, the 600 people that Elizabeth Bathory might have killed might not agree with you, but you're going to get a hell of a story, literally, possibly, and I can't wait. And it's a Black Caravan title, so you know it's good, and it's got Smocky on covers, and Joseph Smocky is a phenomenal artist, and who knows, he's like kind of guiding this book along, so you've got Joseph Smocky guiding a book from actual like Hungarian creators, making Elizabeth Bathory book. It's everything you need. It's a perfect trifecta of an amazing comic. Pick of the week. You need to read it.
Yeah, a lot of great books this week. This was
so good.
Such a fantastic week for comics, for sure.
And in honor of Elizabeth Bathory, I'm going to open a second bottle of wine.
Ooh.
This is called Stella Rosa, and it's a low alcohol level. So
thank gosh.
Yeah,
no rants from me tonight.
You might enjoy it. But this is a black wine, which I don't even know what that means. It is a low alcohol grape wine specialty with natural flavors. It's got 90 tasting points. It was a gold medal winner for the World Wine Championship.
Ooh.
I don't even know what the flavors are because I didn't read the back. A deep dark color combined with natural flavors of blackberry, blueberry, and raspberry. Full body. Served. It says served chilled. I didn't. It's not cold in here at all. I promise you guys it's very hot in this room. But we're gonna try it anyway. And we're gonna figure it out if this is good. So Stella Rosa Black. Here you go. It's not very dark.
Whoa, it looks a little different than I was expecting.
Right, it's a little bubbly.
I thought it was gonna be.
It's probably not good.
It's a headache.
Huh?
Matt says this is a headache wine. Probably
Bubbly means headache.
I'm surprised.
Oh, does it?
It could.
It could.
We'll
Who
see.
knows?
We're gonna see. I don't know. It's low alcohol level, but it's bubbly. So, but it's a gold medal winner in the World Wine Tasting Championship. So, let's see what that means.
Oh, that definitely needs to be chilled.
Oh yeah,
That
that's
is a wine
super
that
sweet.
has to be
That is
cold. Yeah.
That is a grape juice. That is like Welch's grape juice right there.
Yummy.
Oh my god, that is a
Good, though.
completely
It
different
is,
taste.
but I feel like you would get the most out
If it was cold.
if it was cold.
Yeah, well, we'll chill it and we'll drink the rest after the stream because we're gonna go through this
It
stuff
tastes
really
like
fast.
candy.
Yeah, it does. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, so we are going to talk about things we have in stock. Woo!
Is it offensive to put ice cubes in your wine?
I mean, I don't know.
No, people do it.
But Matt's
Okay.
gonna put it in there to keep it cold so we can taste the rest. We can retaste it later. Alright, so things that are in stock. First up, we've got Flashpoint Beyond because DC knows that Flashpoint is their focal point and they're gonna continue to go with that. Flashpoint is coming back. We're gonna move from there to whatever we're doing now. Who knows? DC just got bought. Well, let me rephrase that. Warner Brothers got bought, and so we're seeing some cleanup, I guess, from Discovery of like the DC universe. Elektra celebrated 100 issues. The most important part of this is that Anna Cinti has the story. I'm very excited. Naomi, season 2, issue 2. If you haven't read Naomi before, you should, because she's fantastic. We'll talk about that in a second. Captain Carter, issue 2. This is great. This is Captain Carter and Betsy Braddock teaming up.
Ooh.
Yeah, you just sold Phil on that book right there.
Guess I'll read it.
Batgirls, issue 5. I love this book. Speaking of, this book is written by Becky Cloonan. If you didn't know, Becky Cloonan is nominated for the Best of Austin, and this is like your last little bit of time to vote for the Austin Chronicles Best of poll. So go to the Austin Chronicle website, vote for Becky Cloonan, or Donnie Cates, or Drew Edwards, or any of those amazing creators in Austin as your favorite. But definitely vote for Bat City as your favorite comic book shop because you're watching our stuff, so you must love us. Last book you'll ever read, issue 7 by Cullen Bunn at Vault Comics. Next issue is the last one.
I thought you said that about the last issue.
Now it actually says to be completed. Okay. So here we are. We are actually going to be concluded soon. I can't wait. The point is finally being made. I just want to know. If we stick the landing. X-Men issue 10 of the Jerry Dugan run. X-Men 92, House of 92. I'm not going to spell it out in Roman numerals. This is kind of what if the X-Men cartoon was the Krakoan X-Men? Josh is going to run out here and correct me in a second. Miles Morales Spider-Man, issue 37. We love Miles. Star Wars Darth Vader, issue 22, part of the Crimson Reign storyline. There's also a Star Wars issue this week for the Crimson Reign storyline, but I don't know if we still have any. Venom, issue 7. That's the Al Ewing Ram V run. Eternals, issue 11. We're building up to the Eternals X-Men Avengers battle. Judgment Day is coming. Your free comic book day issue is going to be your starting point for that event. And we're going to talk about free comic book day later, so stick around. Elektra issue, I already said Elektra issue 100 happened, but I just needed to bring this cover. Apparently, I threw it in here too.
It's a great cover.
It's a good cover. Shadow Man issue 8. This is also Colin Bunn writing for Valiant. The Sword of Hyperborea, Mike Mignola's Hellboy universe. We've got The Wrong Earth, Fame and Fortune, issue 1. We've got Norse mythology, Neil Gaiman's novel of Norse mythology being turned into comic books. You should grab it. It's fantastic. Great way to understand Norse mythology. Last Flight Out, issue 6 of 6 from Dark Horse. We've got Dungeons and Dragons, The Best of Minsk and Boo from IDW. This is a one-shot. I believe
IDW is doing it now with Dungeons and Dragons?
Yes, it's the Ninja Turtles where they take the best stories, but they're doing it for their Dungeons and Dragons stories.
Weird.
Farmhand, issue 16.
Finally back.
Yes. We came back last month.
Oh.
Yeah. What if Miles Morales became Wolverine? This is What If Miles Morales issue 2. We're going to have a whole series of Miles Morales being other characters. Superman, Son of Kal-El, issue 10. From Tom Taylor. Future State Gotham. I handed it to you, and now I don't know what issue it is. So, 12? 11?
12.
12. There we go. It is still going on. That is not the last issue. I ordered more today. I Am Batman, issue 8. This is a really cool story, actually. If you haven't been reading I Am Batman, you should check it out. Batman Urban Legends, issue 14. That's a cool cover of Batman and the Question teaming up.
All Batman.
Batman and Catwoman. Oh my god, I love that cover. And we've got Batman 89, issue 5, which this is the cover B because I'm out of the cover A, which is the Hell Here cover. If you know that classic scene from Batman 89 where she turns into Catwoman for the first time and she cracks the letters.
92.
Yeah.
Sorry, 92. But Batman Returns.
Oh,
but
so
this
they brought
is part
her
of
into the
Batman
89?
89
I mean,
story.
I guess it's all the same universe.
It's the same universe, so they've expanded that. But yeah, the Batman Returns 92, where she cracks the hello there letters, and it says Hell Here. There's a cover that has her like crawling out towards the window, and it's got the cracked Hell Here thing.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's fantastic. We got some trades coming out this week, and some in stock that I think you should be picking up. So we're gonna go through those really fast as well. First up, Telepaths from AWA Upshot. Like I said, 9.99 trades from AWA. This is the whole Telepath story from J. Michael Straczynski. Not a part of the Resistance universe, but it might as well be because it feels like it. What happens when everybody on Earth is affected by a comet, a solar flare that gives a bunch of people telepathic powers? Some are cops, some are bad guys, some are working for the president. All kinds of things happen. Star Wars High Republic. This is Trial of the Shadows. This is a trade. Huh?
Trail of Shadows.
Trail of Shadows. What did I say? Trail of Shadows. Sorry, I'm not looking at it. I'm just making stuff up right now, apparently. This is, if you haven't read it, here's your chance, all collected. Sorry, I was reading Ram Said Hooray, the latest issue of Batman Catwoman has arrived. Yes, and it is in your box, don't you worry, buddy. House of Slaughter Volume 1 is out in trade form. This was your pick, Bat City fans, for the best book of 2021. This is the story of Aaron from the House of Slaughter and Jace, his romantic entanglement. I don't know if he ever actually becomes a boyfriend or not, but this is a great story. It's going to lead into what else is going on in the House of Slaughter, spinoff of Something is Killing the Children. If you haven't read it yet, this is a great opportunity to grab it. It is also a great display of Chris Sheehan's phenomenal art. We love Chris Sheehan. And there it is. The Sandman. They are finally giving us New Prints of Volume 1. There are 2 different versions. There is there is a direct market version and a regular version, all of which will tell you that there's a Netflix show coming soon. But if you have never jumped into Sandman, now is your time. There are volume 1s. There's also an annotated volume 1 in our store, which is super freaking cool. It's a hardcover. It's amazing. It has all the annotations. We have volume 1 of the Epic Collection of Morbius in. So if you're somebody who wants to know who the hell is Morbius and why is everybody talking about him, here is a great way to read the comics instead of seeing the movie.
And Beowulf is in it.
Naomi, Season 1 by Brian Michael Bendis. If you are ready for the new Naomi comic that's coming out, or if you're watching the CW show, this is a great way to get caught up on who Naomi is. This is all of Volume 1 of Naomi. It's Easter, so I felt it necessary to bring a copy of Second Coming from Ahoy Comics. This is Volume 1. What if God sent his son Jesus to the modern times to live with Superman, and Jesus lived in the 2020s and had to figure out what our society was like now. This is the best. This is Mark Russell just flexing on how good of a writer he is, honestly and truthfully.
Could you imagine Jesus coming back now?
Oh, God, no.
He hate us.
He would hate it. Well, he has a really good commentary on it in Second Coming, if you need to read it. It is not sacrilegious, honestly and truthfully. Mark Russell grew up in the church, and he's like, hey, this is all the questions I had that nobody could answer for me, plus, like, my modern take on everything. So
I imagine Jesus would come back and be a TikTok influencer.
Oh my God, that would be so great. Now I'm disappointed that Mark Russell didn't do that in Second Coming. T.I. just said, it's so good. Yes, I'm so glad that you fell in love with Second Coming. I think you just started Volume 2, T.I. Let us know if you are...
Are you saying T.I.?
T.I., yeah, his name.
The
not
rapper?
The rapper. Don't get excited.
I was like, what?
No. We talked about Lysandro's art earlier, so I just want to remind you there are copies of Redneck Volume 1 in stock. If you've never started Donny Cates' Redneck, this is a great homage to Austin local establishment Posse East, where Donny Cates was working as a cook when he first started breaking into comics. It is still an ongoing series. It has not ended yet, but because it is not there yet, but you need to check it out. Kaiju Score. We brought up Kaiju Score. This is Volume 1 of Aftershock's Kaiju Score, all about what would happen if you wanted to do a major heist, but you had to do it while kaiju were mating in the area.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Great story.
Yes. Farmhand, Volume 1. If you were like, what the hell is Farmhand when we held up that book earlier, this is a great way to get into it and figure out what it is. It is a crazy, trippy book, but it is a great story. I just told you if you needed some quick... You wanted to read a whole thing about Morbius, you could. If you want a quick version, we have 1 copy left of the Marvelverse of Morbius. These are $10 versions of just fan favorite stories of characters throughout time. This is a great way to figure out a little bit about who that is. We also have one for Moon Knight. I'm kind of disappointed with how small the Moon Knight one is compared to others. It feels so thin.
It's only $10 though.
It's still 4 issues for $10, I think. At least 4 or 5 issues. So it's a great way to get into it.
You always get the first appearance.
You always get the first appearance. Yeah.
5 issues.
So 5 issues for $10. Not bad.
Yeah.
You're not getting that.
Werewolf by Night 32 and 33 kicks it off.
Nice.
It's great.
And speaking of Moon Knight, we also have the Moon Knight Legacy Complete Collection. So this was the Max Bemis run on Moon Knight. It was issues 188 through 200. So if you didn't catch that, this is a great time to get it.
And shout out to Max Bemis.
We also have volumes 2 and 3 of the Moon Knight Epic Collections, which is the Sienkiewicz run, I believe, on Moon Knight for both of them. The Doug mentioned, is that right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
This is 81 to 84 between these 2 volumes.
This is definitely Doug mentioned. Yeah, they're both Doug mentioned, Bill Sienkiewicz. Okay. So yeah, this is, you said that's
the original run.
The original run?
Yeah.
Of his solo series?
Uh-huh.
Cool.
Part 2 and Part 3.
Part 2 and Part 3. So if you need to grab some because you're like, I'm watching this Moon Knight show and it's freaking fantastic, you are correct. And this is the great way to get the comic to learn about some more about Moon Knight. Cool. Those are some of the trades we have in stock. There's obviously a ton more. If you have questions, I love playing trade roulette. Come into the store, pick up a trade, and ask me what it's about. I will tell you. Be prepared that I will not stop until you do, though. So if you're like, hey, tell me about this book, I will keep going all day. It is up to you to tell me you don't want to hear about it anymore. Comic industry news. First and foremost, once again, a reminder that this is the last chance you have to vote for the Best of Austin Chronicle poll. If you did not vote for Bat City yet, this is your chance to vote for Bat City as your favorite comic book store in Austin. I once again want to say thank you to everybody who nominated us, because you do have to get nominated by a bunch of people to make it, because they only pick like 4 or 5 in each category. Not all of the comic book stores in the Austin area make it, and the fact that we did, I'm super, super thankful. It's such a huge deal for us. Matt made a post today that was talking about how, for us, it's an 18-hour day every day to make this work minimum, and it's so cool that it feels like when you get nominated for something like that, you feel like that people see all of that work you put into it, and it makes you feel seen for the work you're doing. So, I mean, even if it's always just a nomination, that's still an incredible accomplishment. Bat City has been nominated all of its years in existence, which is super cool. So thank you to everybody who supports us on a daily basis, but also who supported us enough to nominate us and to vote for us. If you haven't voted yet, go to the Austin Chronicles website, or just Google Austin Chronicle Best of 2022, and it'll take you directly to the thing.
Yeah, and tonight is the last night. Don't forget.
Mm-hmm.
This is your last chance to get those votes in before it's all said and done. And honestly, go through all the categories. There's food, clothing. They cover everything. You can vote for best tacos, best barbecue. All those really wonderful things. And I always go through every year and go through every single category.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a bubbly wine. Oh my god.
It's intense.
It's a thing.
It's it's a lot.
Yeah. The Josh wine was great, so shout out Josh for the Josh wine.
I like this one because it tastes more like grape juice.
It does taste a lot. It seriously, it's just grape juice.
Like someone left a huge chunk of bubble gum in grape juice and got this, and I love it.
I'm so glad we found a wine that you love.
I like the barrel aged ones, but I could drink this one on the daily.
All right, well, we're chilling it so you can get the proper tasting of it, since it said chill. Other comic industry news. We were talking about Keenspot earlier, and I just want to say, so Keenspot did Marry Me, that book that the movie that was advertised during all of the Super Bowl, and I guess they just had their second book was picked up, optioned.
Okay.
So I love to see all of these small presses that are just getting all of these option rights coming through. I think that's incredible. We also have Opus Comics is coming up soon, and you and I just talked about this. Opus has the rights to all the Frazetta. And they are bringing back a story that you're very excited about.
Dealer.
Death Dealer is coming back. So really excited to see that. I just ordered copies of issue 1 of Death Dealer.
Sweet.
But and I know that I was reading about it, and Frank Frazetta's granddaughter is essentially in charge of all of his stuff. So she's actually credited on the book, so she's helping them make sure it stays true to it, but it is going to have a lot of his actual art and stuff in it. So really excited about that for all of the Frazetta fans. Opus Comics coming up, they're launching. And it's Denton Tipton, who's worked with IDW and Heavy Metal, is actually a big part of Opus Comics. So really excited to see where that goes, because he's got a lot of experience in the industry. So I think he's going to do some good job leading us there.
I feel like there definitely needs to be more reprints of Frazetta stuff, art books and things like that, because that art is just... I mean, half the reason I'll go and eat at a Conan's Pizza is just to look at all the Frazetta art in the tables and stuff.
Yeah. If you're from Austin and you've never been to Conan's Pizza, you should go check it out. Because it's themed around Conan the Barbarian, and you do get all that Frazetta art.
A lot of Frazetta art. Mm-hmm. Even in the tables underneath the plastic covering, there's a bunch
There's just art from Frazetta. It's super cool.
Oh gosh, it's great.
And it's the closest, I think we have one of the closest restaurants to Chicago style pizza that we have in the area. Other than that, there is May 7th is Free Comic Book Day, and I think everybody who stopped into the store has asked me, is there a plan for Free Comic Book Day? There is a plan. There's always a plan. It's just a half-formed plan. We have 12% of a plan, to quote Iron Man.
We're putting the team together.
We're working on it. No, there is a plan for Free Comic Book Day. Of course, you can get all of your Free Comic Book Day titles here. We'll probably be hosting our festivities from 12 to 6. It's going to include local creators. I believe Dan Price for sure will be here. He's already talked about that. Possibly Ronaldo Garza, who did, and I hope I got that name right this time. Tank McGregor. We're hoping to see a lot of cool creators. We also are in talks with our buddy Doug to get some comic-themed stand-up comedy.
Ooh.
Yes, I'm very excited. Doug was telling me that he has a stand-up comedy. Him and one of his buddies have been doing comic-themed stand-up comedy, and they haven't found the right place for it. And I was like, bro, I got your place. It's right here. Come for Free Comic Book Day. So hopefully Doug will be out here for that, and maybe have a couple other people to do sets with as well. So keep an eye out. We're going to drop it all on our Facebook probably in the next week, all the details, but there might be some carnival games. There's definitely going to be some like free comics. There's going to be probably a sale on other comics. It's going to be great. If you are a Bat City volunteer and you want to volunteer, let us know. If you're not a volunteer and you're like, hey, this is a great opportunity and I'd like to be a part of volunteering, shoot me a message on Facebook if we're friends, or Instagram or whatever. Shoot it to the store. If you're like, hey, I've always wanted to volunteer at Bat City and I'm crazy and I'm going to start on Free Comic Book Day, hit me up. I'm happy to take your help.
Yeah, it's definitely a good place to jump in. And, I mean, all of the volunteers here are really great, wonderful people. I mean, before I started shopping at Bat City, a lot of my friends didn't live in this city anymore. They'd all moved on to other places. And this is now like my family more than anything. So it's a great place to come and hang out and be a part of the team. Yeah, I mean, I love volunteering here.
Thanks,
you know, Phil. I've worked my way into being on the live stream every Sunday. So,
it's true. It's true. Yeah. Right, we like give you a whole spot, like a whole segment. Yeah. Like it's like a thing. You have your own pick.
That's really all I was working towards. That was really all I wanted, was my pick on the wall.
Right, if you ever come into Bat City and you see Phil's pick on the wall, it is referencing this Phil. A lot of people are always like, "What? Who is this person?" It's this guy.
Yeah.
Other than that, that's kind of our big news. I didn't pull the picks, the upcoming books of the week. So give me a second, because I thought that we might have our normal like drop from Chad. I will pull this up and tell you some of the awesome picks, or not picks, but books coming out this next week. Oh my God, is it already April 20th? Are we there? Are we already almost done with April?
We are.
Good Lord.
We are. It is getting to that point. Right. While she's looking at books, again, don't forget, Best of Austin, vote for Bat City. If you are watching this on YouTube, make sure to hit that subscribe button. It's very helpful. It's gonna boost our page and allow us to do more things with our content on YouTube. And every Wednesday at 8:30, we are on Whatnot at Bat City TV. Make sure to come in and get some really great deals on some books. We do all the bin diving for you, essentially.
Essentially, that's what we're doing. Phil and I go through some crazy bins.
All I did Wednesday while I was here was dig through bins and pull out all sorts of really great books.
We're going to be doing some new books, too, on Wednesday. Some new releases.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's another thing. If you are in a city that maybe you see some of these books on the live stream and you're not in this city, then it's also a good chance to do that. Also, don't hesitate to reach out to us
and ask if we have something.
And ask for stuff. Like even hit us up for characters or runs you're looking for. And it gives us a chance to build a better box for the live stream, for the Whatnot auction, and that way we can get the stuff that you're looking for in particular.
Yeah. Books coming out this week that you're going to want to keep your eye on. We've got Bolero issue 4 at 5. It is only going to be 5 issues.
That you can't do much more.
No, you can't. But we've got a new issue of Bolero coming out, which has been one of those consistent We Love books. Good Asian, issue 10 of 10. The end of Good Asian is coming. This was that they did stretch it to 10 because they had a really good story to tell in issue 8. So we're finally getting the end of that. Homesick Pilots is coming towards its end, and I don't want to talk about it ending ever. I thought it should just last for life. Ice Cream Man issue 29, talk about books that can go on until I die, and I'd be happy. Slumber issue 2 is coming out. Very important announcement. The vinyl trade paperback is hitting shelves this week. Super excited to see vinyl finally coming out in trade. For all of you who are trade waiting it, you need to read vinyl when it comes out. Oh my gosh. We've got all kinds of Marvel books. We've got Captain America issue 0 for the new Captain America run. We've got a new Doctor Strange title. We've got Hulk issue number 6. A lot of people ask me this week, like, oh, isn't there a new issue of Hulk? No, it's this week. We've got Spider-Gwen, Gwenverse issue 2. We've got Wolverine issue 20. We've got so many, Animal Castle issue 5. armor class for those of you. My favorite, I'm going to put this in Picks of the Week right now, is the Upshot and the End of Time graphic novel is coming out. That is one of my favorite novels in the middle grade world. Shout out to Rosh Nuchowski for creating one of the fantastic things that is a part of the Rick Riordan imprint. It's amazing. You're gonna hear all about it next week. Don't worry. Don't you worry. I will tell you why I love it so much. We've got some other books that I'm gonna make sure that I don't. Dark Beach is coming out. We've got Jonna and the Impossible Monsters issue 9. We've got Knighted number 5 of 5. We're finally going to see the ending of Knighted, which I'm really excited to see how that wraps up. There's Mortal Insurance graphic novel number 5. I don't know if I ordered that, and I should have because I love it. I have a Mortal Instruments tattoo, guys, and I don't even know if I ordered that, so I'm slacking. Primos issue 3, Quad issue 4.
Sweet.
I'm super excited for both of those. We've got this is so hard to read, but I'm trying to get you as many things as I can. I know Chad's slacking on me. Wasn't here to give me my list. There's a lot of books. Let's just go with that. There's a lot of books coming out this week. I can't wait to see all of them. I'm sure it's going to be a great week because it's always a great week when we get to read comics, and we get to read comics every week. And then we get to tell you about them. So thank you so much for tuning in. If you're watching us right now on Facebook, we appreciate you tuning in live with us. Don't forget to vote for the Bat City for favorite comic store, like Phil said. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much for tuning in there. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave us comments of all the things that you're loving, books that you're enjoying. Either way, we want to hear about what you guys are liking, so we can tell you more about those books or tell you more about books you might have missed. If you have a favorite genre and you're like, are there books about this? Hit us up. Let us know. We want to tell you about the books that you need to hear about. There's so many small press books. We try to cover all of them. There are some books we don't get to. We'd love to get to all of them. It would take even more than the 3 hours that this show usually takes. It's only been 2, so we've got another hour. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you so much for tuning in. We hope we'll see you on Wednesday. Also, don't forget, if you're planning on coming into the shop in the next couple weeks, or if you shop with us, even not in person, we are auctioning off our one of our copies of JLA versus the Avengers by George Perez for money going to Heroes Initiative. It's a great opportunity. We're going to be running that raffle until Free Comic Book Day, where at the end of Free Comic Book Day, we will draw the winner of that. So if you were like, oh, I really wanted to get one of those 7,000 copies that existed, you have a chance, and the money will go to Heroes Initiative, which helps creators get the health care and other benefits that they need. And stop in the store, buy your tickets, or shoot us a message on Facebook or Instagram letting us know that you would like tickets for that. We are so excited for Free Comic Book Day. We're excited to see you on Wednesday in the store, but if we don't see you either of those, we'll definitely see you here next Sunday, 9 p.m. on Facebook for the live version of Wind Down Your Weekend, or we'll catch you on YouTube afterwards. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.